Dowses Beach is having a ball. He is nearing the $500,000 mark in career earnings. He'll look to get past that number as the favorite in today's Lucky Coin. And they'll have a new rider in Rajiv Mirage, who has overcome some severe injuries to win some of the most prestigious races in the country this year. Gunrunner tomorrow in the Woodward, presented by Naira Bets. This immensely talented colt will be on display once again here at beautiful Saratoga Racecourse. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Saratoga Live, presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Another packed crowd as we close out the 2017 record-breaking season here at Saratoga Racecourse, and it is a pleasure to be on air today. I'm Frank Miramati, joined by Gabby Gaudet. Our host, Greg Wolf, is out in Southern California covering some college football for Fox. We wish him all the best this weekend. He'll be back at Belmont Park. Gabby, it has been a phenomenal meet. It always is here at Saratoga, but this one in particular, we've had some spectacular performances.
Absolutely, and we're not done yet. We've gotten through some really key races, obviously, in the Whitney and the Travers, and now we're approaching the Woodward this weekend, but we still have 3 Grade 1s left. We've got 4 graded stakes left, and it's going to be an action-packed weekend.
Absolutely, and we've got a big showdown in the trainers race. A lot of people thought maybe Chad Brown would run away with this year's meet, despite the fact that Todd Pletcher's record is well documented here at Saratoga. It's 36-35, and these two have a tremendous showdown in the spin-away as Todd sends out Pure Silver and Chad sends out Separation of Powers to square off.
And that's going to be a very key race as well. Of course, Separation of Powers, brilliant when she won here most recently in Pure Silver as well, but they both have an arsenal of horses that are coming out this weekend, so we'll see. It'll be a battle to the finish, but Todd Pletcher, a 12-time winner of the title here at Saratoga. Chad Brown got his first one last year, so we'll see what happens.
They both come with guns blazing, and in the jockey standings, no surprise, the last name Ortiz. This time, Jose has a 5-win lead over Irad.
Every time you look up, it's one of the Ortiz brothers winning a race, and right now Jose Ortiz is kind of widening that margin here with 55 wins over his brother, who has 50.
In third, John Velasquez has put on some clinics as well. And here we have a look at our track conditions, the John Deere track conditions. The track is fast. The turf course is firm. Chamber of Commerce weather here as we kick off closing weekend. Today, we will begin the Naira Bets Pick 5 on our show. It starts with race number 7 today, and it's allowance optional claimer. And we talked about the feature today, the Lucky Coin, which will be the closing part of our show. Let's welcome another member of our staff, and it's certainly an honor to bring in Maggie Wolfendale.
Well, Frank, thank you so much. In regards to the Lucky Coin, an argument can be made about which horse will set the early pace. And before the claim by Brad Cox of Dowses Beach, he wouldn't be even in the argument. But since Brad has taken over the training of this horse, he has shown a new dimension in that he is pretty quick away from the gates. He's won 2 of his 3 starts for Brad, and coming off of a narrow defeat in a Grade 2 last time out in the Play King Stakes at Woodbine. He will turn back from the 7/8 to the 5.5 furlongs, where here at Saratoga, he is 3 for 4. So he's very well accomplished at this distance. Obviously, he has improved for his current connections. You can see it as he's put on a lot of muscle mass this year in 2017. But the horse that is a little more of a confirmed speed type is Loose on the Town. He'll come out of a dirt race. That was a narrow loss to the very talented Stallwalkin' Dude in the Tail of the Cat Stakes last time. Now, he's been on the turf 4 times. He's won 2 of those for trainer Brian Lynch. 5.5, he is drawn outside of Dowses Beach. We'll see who is the fastest away from the stalls here in today's Lucky Coin, Frank.
Well, we start the Naira Bets Pick 5 right here, and there's no better time to talk about a bonus to get you started, and you can do so by going to NairaBets.com. You could bet all the Saratoga action right from home. Just open a Naira Bets wagering account. You get a new member sign-up bonus. Use the promo code PICK5 at sign-up. Also, as a Naira Bets member, you get exclusive online access to the daily Naira Bets Pick 5 and Naira Bets available nationwide. So go to NairaBets.com, enter that promo code PICK5, and qualify for that sign-up promotion today. We kick things off race number 7. It's an allowance optional claimer, and is often the case here at Saratoga, a wide open contest. New York's finest, lightly raced in this race, Gabby, but coming off back-to-back very good victories.
And to be honest, Frank, I'm pretty surprised that this horse is opening up as your 9-5 favorite, because this is a 3-year-old who, yes, has been in good form for Linda Rice, who's had a fantastic meetings thus far, but he's facing the big boys today. And not only that, he's got a lot of other speed signed on for here today, too. So it's a big question mark, but a great betting race.
Let's welcome in the rest of our team. New York Racing Association handicapper analyst, the one and only Andy Serling, is with the man who really doesn't need any introduction, but he is quite an all-star, Mr. Paul LaDuca.
Thanks a lot, Frank. You know, it is funny talking about this race, and Gabby and I had spoken about it earlier today. New York's finest has run fine in the 2 races. Not good enough to beat about half the field here, but run fine. But in both of the races that New York Finest has been in, the other speed has gotten left. There's a little more speed today, and I feel like this is like 10 years ago when Linda Rice won the training title here, and every horse that she ran in a turf sprint got overbet. This horse should not be favored and will be favored.
Yeah, I guess so. And I thought this horse would be second choice. And do I think he has a chance? Yes, because he's been very sharp. His last 2 efforts, now he's gotten the work done. I get it. He's been on lone leads. But what I got to give him credit for, he's broken like a shot in both of those races. He's been sharp as attack. And he's gone on with it. I get it. He's going to have to do all the dirty work. So at 2-1, yeah, bad favorite, because he's going to have to do this the whole way around when he's been able to jog. But look at his ears at the end of this race. He looks like he wants to do more.
Well, he was just so happy to know their speed broke in those races. We'll crack out the dunce cap. The dunce cap, if the 2 wins here, haven't tried to warn it. Done it a couple times in the meet. The horses got beaten, though one of them probably should have won. The horse I picked on top here, Paul, is ridiculous price at 13-1 right now, and will be coming down, is Animal Posse, and that's the number 9 Animal Posse. Now, I don't like picking horses necessarily off wins because they're stepping up and they get overbet off wins. But I thought this horse ran extremely well in the context of that race on top of the pace. And even though the second place finisher did not run well in a subsequent performance, I think Animal Posse ran well enough, and I like his chances in here.
Yeah, Wicked Macho wasn't awful. He was 3rd. You know, when you go back and you watch that, you're right. Animal Posse was wide the whole way. You don't really see turf sprinters win like this. 3 wide, mostly around the racetrack. Now, the horse on the outside starts to lug out here a tiny bit. Now, watch Wicked Macho, the gray. Sort of looks like he's going to go by, and Animal Posse doesn't let him. He takes a bad step, does the 5 here late. But I thought he was game. I'm with you. He was wide most of the way. For him to have enough punch left at the end, he won by a nose. Here you see the bad step there, but I don't get 13-1.
I don't either. He'll come down looking at the multis. And if you look at his record, the only time he hasn't run well in every one of his 5 career starts was when he was involved in a very fast pace going 7 furlongs. 5.5 is perfect. Inside of him is the 8, What's to Talk About. What's to Talk About can easily win this race, and getting away, avoiding Jason's service horses, you do it at your own peril because the guy just wins. One thing about this horse that concerns me, and I think he's a big-time player here, you have to time his move perfectly because he has a very short move, and if you move too soon, he will hang. But Irad Ortiz has given him 2 brilliant rides in his last 3 races.
I'm with you. You know, his last race 2 back, it was ultra impressive. Then this one confuses me because he had a really good trip. He tips out, and he didn't have the punch this day. Was he facing better horses? I don't know. Maybe he's just better off a little bit of a layoff.
I think the excuse for his last race was that it was a very moderate pace, and I think at 7 furlongs, he needs them to be moving up front. If you look at the race on May 3rd, it was actually a faster pace, and the turf course was much less firm at that time.
This race by
the
4 or 5.
The race 3 back, the race 2 and 3 back, give him a chance. I just worry a little bit with him. He's a horse who needs to make his move at too precise a time to win as we head out to get so much more for Maggie.
Andy, thank you. As I will begin with a horse that's sitting at a somewhat fair price as of now, and that's number 5, Dr. Shane, who was 3rd behind that next time out winner in Grand Sky, along with Exultation here. And I just thought, looking at Dr. Shane, I think he appreciates the 5.5 furlongs. He was a little bit far out of it, more so than I anticipated in that last race. Wondering if he will lay a little bit closer this time around. Granted, he did come with a good kick, but I just thought that as the horses walked in here, he was certainly one that stood out. He just looks fantastic here in the flesh. Now, a horse that's a little bit of a wild card question mark, that's for sure, is number 11, The Funny Thing, for trainer Charlie Baker, as he'll actually try the turf for the first time. physically and not looking at pedigree whatsoever, kind of throwing that out the window. Sometimes you have to do that. I think this horse might like it. He's really kind of built like a turf sprinter in that he's got those big hindquarters. He's got that big engine behind him. He has a slacker pasterns, a more angled hoof. And I think that just kind of at taking a stab, if you want to throw a long shot in for a guy who's having an excellent meet, I think number 11, To Funny Thing, might be one that you want as he teams up with Johnny V here, Frank.
After the Dubai World Cup, the only bouncing that Gunrunner did was into the winner's circle, first to Stephen Foster and most recently in the Whitney. He will be looking for a very rare feat. As the Woodward moved here in 2006, he'll be looking to be the only horse other than Lawyer Ron to win both. He runs tomorrow. We'll have more on him later on.
This three-time graded stakes winning millionaire defeated 20 Grade 1 winners. In the Dixie Stakes, he defeated Canadian champion and horse of the year Up With the Birds and set a new course record at Saratoga. Runner-up in the Grade 1 Manhattan and Shadwell Turf Mile, Ironicus ran 7 triple-digit buyers, including this score in the Fort Marcy Stakes. Half to 4 graded stakes winners, Ironicus has the speed, class, and bloodlines to become the next great sire by Distorted Humor. Ironicus at Clayton Farm.
Make NyraBets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NyraBets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NyraBets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NyraBets.com.
Welcome back to Saratoga Live, and we have a Saratoga Showdown opportunity. You can play with us every day. It's a free online game following our races on Saratoga Live. Visit SaratogaShowdown.com to start playing, and the highest mythical bankroll earns 50,000 NyraBets points and an entry to win a 2018 Belmont Stakes prize package valued at over $2,000. Join in on the fun at SaratogaShowdown.com. Horses in the paddock set to come onto the track, Gabby, for race number 7, and it's a very competitive one, 2-to-1 the price on New York's finest.
Exactly. The money is going to him, and as Andy was alluding to, judging by the doubles, he's likely going to be your post-time favorite, but there are several horses who are coming out of the same race, and you're taking a look at one of them, and that's Delaquint for trainer Mike Dilger, and I actually like this horse best, Frank. He was defeated by Grand Sky last time out. That horse came back to win an open allowance yesterday, and not only that, that turf sprint, which we'll take a look at right now, back on August 5th. This was a horse who was kind of involved in that early pace that eventually did collapse. You see all the successful horses in here with Exaltation and even Dr. Shane kind of make that last move into the pace, whereas I thought that he really did the heavy lifting. So out of that race, Paul, that's actually who I want. What do you make of that race, and do you want anybody out of it?
Couldn't agree more with you. It's my selection on top is a 6. Ridiculous price is 17-to-1. I can't wait to see the horse on the racetrack, because you can see there in the backtrack that the horse was a little bit washed out, and hopefully everything will be okay.
I didn't like this horse, but I thought Gabby made a terrific case for this horse when we did Talking Horses earlier, and she's right. Out of the horses out of that race, the one you wanted. How is this horse 17-to-1? The board is so out of whack because of the price on the 2.
And here's the other thing, Gabby. The horse I think is better from off the pace, and I think cannot get to the front in this field. So I think it's even better if she's laying 4th or 5th, or he's laying 4th or 5th.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to be the fastest out of the gate, and he's proven he has a successful rating gear. So we'll see how it all unfolds.
You can hear the call for the horses to come onto the track for race number 7. Again, this race begins the NyraBets Pick 5, and you can bet it at nyrabets.com. Number 1 is the Crocheron Kid for David Donk, who's had a nice meet.
And 3 for 26 on form, but has been in decent form, just a long shot here at 39-1.
Number 2, New York's Finest, trained by Linda Rice, looking for the hat trick. 2 very easy victories thus far this meet.
A somewhat surprising favorite being overbet, moving up against much tougher horses.
One of the price horses in here is number 3, Saratoga Giro, a son of Girolamo, who was very, very talented. His best work came on the main track.
Showcases only 1 turf sprint in his recent past and showed speed that day. I imagine he'll be forwardly placed.
With Exaltation is number 4 for Robertino Diodoro. Claimed 2 starts back, a good second at a huge number last time.
Ran well last time, as Frank said, at a big price. We'll see if he can get it done against maybe tougher.
Here's Dr. Shane, Joel Rosario up for Nick Essler.
A good setup last time out, closing from off the pace, but has to get that elusive victory on the turf.
Nick Juarez will be coming to New York after the Monmouth Park meet is over. He's on Delaquint.
A horse who's coming in this race in good form and was contending in a pace that collapsed last time.
Here's number 7, Excluded, 16-1 right now, gets the blinkers on.
Blinkers do go on, and he comes out of the same race that several come out of. Who is best?
What's to talk about? Had a couple of victories and then a third in his most recent start for Jason Service. All of that since he was gelded.
A big-time player for a hot barn. Must time his move perfectly.
Animal Posse got there last time out for Andy Serling. He's coming back for more off that game nose victory.
Lightly raced for a 5-year-old with only 5 lifetime starts, but they're good, and he could fit the flow of the race today.
Here's Uncle Huge for Hugh McMahon.
Uncle Huge is part of the pace, but he has the benefit of being outside the other speeds.
The funny thing, we talked about Charlie Baker's success. He has repeated a great effort last season.
An interesting horse. He's making his turf debut today, and if he likes it, he could potentially be one of those speeds as well.
And close to his morning line at 27-1 is Man of Fire.
A horse off a layoff and a barn change who has back races that give him a chance at a price.
This race begins the NyraBets late pick 5, an incredible value with just a 50-cent minimum bet and 15% takeout. The only place you can bet the NyraBets pick 5 outside of New York is on nyrabets.com. Today, the minimum single ticket payout, $150,000, and tomorrow, Woodward Day, that minimum will be $300,000. Find the details and play the NyraBets pick 5 nationwide at nyrabets.com. Paul LaDuca has put together a ticket for us. Paul?
Yeah, Merriman, I thought it was a difficult sequence, but here's the deal. We're not going to be covering the 11th race. Chad Brown has a horse in there that's going to be about 1 to 5, maybe even lower, and doesn't look like he's going to lose. So I think it's one of those sequences you need to get down, open up your account, and get down because it's basically a pick 4. 2, 6, 8, 9 in here, again, using the 6. 3-4, a lot of buzz. I've heard more buzz about the Horacio de Paz horse than in the 30 years I've been watching racing. It's been unbelievable. The 5 horse in race number 8. I'm using the 2 horses that have run, 2, 6, 11, 3, 5, 6, 8 to the heavy favorite in the last.
And the good news, Paul, is since that last race will be when we're off the air, they can't come after you if the favorite loses.
That's true.
But I agree with you. That horse is a hard horse not to single.
There's a look at number 5, Dr. Shane. 2 for 19 for Dr. Shane. He sits at 8-1 with Joel Rosario, who has really put on some riding clinics.
He really has. He's had a fantastic meet, but this is a horse who, he's a hard horse to grasp because his turf debut was back at Belmont in April, and he actually showed a little bit of speed. But since then, especially in his last start, he closed from off the pace. And I had a tough time with that last race, considering that it did set up for closers, and maybe lightning will strike twice in the same spot today, guys, just considering the pace that's signed up in here, too.
Well, here's a question, Gabby. Look at, with Exaltation, Dr. Shane and Delaquint. They all hit the wire together. Dr. Shane, to me, seems like the one who should be the biggest price of all 3, and yet he's somehow not only the shortest price, he's half the price of your horse, the 6. That makes no sense to me.
I'm going to agree with you again. I don't know what's going on down here. The horse is 0 for 11 the last 2 years. The horse is 0 for 3 on the turf. They've tried to put the horse on the front end. They've tried everything. I got to give Nick Essler an A+ for trying everything, but you cannot bet this horse at 9-1.
I just don't get the price in relation to the horses he ran against last time as we head out to Maggie.
And thanks, Andy, as we will take a look at the horse that Paulie likes and Gabby likes, Delaquint. And Paul brought up the fact that he looked washed out in his last race, but truth be told, he's always that way, and that's probably why I always never really am drawn to him in the paddock pre-race. But it's nothing out of character. He'll probably get that way as they approach the gate here once again. And, you know, he's a horse that has speed, so a lot of times horses that are ones that are quick, they'll do that. Moving on to a horse that is only getting on the turf for the second time in his career. That's number 3, Saratoga Giro, and a horse that looks phenomenal here. Second off the layoff, he got so much out of that first race, but I just don't understand the switch to this surface. He didn't run well on it last time they tried it. He doesn't look like a turf horse to me. I can't deny the fact he looks spectacular at a big price, but it's just the surface, guys, that I'm having trouble grasping.
There's a look at Saratoga Giro right now. He's 7 for 18 lifetime. He's a big price on the board. This is his second start off a 4-month break.
And the curious thing about this horse, too, and I'll ask Andy and Paul as well, he only has one turf start. And in that race, he was going against the likes of Grand Sky, and he actually showed a little bit of speed after kind of breaking out at the start. Do you think that he could be a thorn in the side of other speeds in here at the very most at 17-1?
Well, that's sort of the question, because this dirt speed, we don't really see it transfer as well to the turf and turf sprints. And even in a slow pace race last year, he was sort of near the pace, but not as fast as in the dirt. And the thing is, you say, Gabby, you know, he lost to Grand Sky. That's not the same Grand Sky that won 2 races up here. That was the Grand Sky that was running last year. That field that he didn't do any running in really last year in a turf sprint, there isn't a horse in that race on that form that would be competitive in this race. I know he's a big price, but I don't see how he can win.
Yeah, I'm with you there, too, because the pace setter sort of put him away early, and then he went away. But he got left last time. If you remember that race, Rectify, there was supposed to be a ton of speed in there, and Rectify just took that field gate to wire. And he sort of like took a bad step right after the beginning of the race. So you don't really know what's going to happen here. You get Dylan Davis-Sabor's pretty aggressive. I would think they have to send their only chance. That's why this race is so weird here, because there's so many horses that need the lead.
Let's talk about layoffs for a moment. There's been a layoff for the dunce cap, and New York's Finest would put that right on Andy's crown. Here he is, son of City Zip, and a horse that was 2 easy wins. I mean, Andy takes stands against favorites, and he's usually right when he does, when he's so passionate. Andy, what do you think?
Listen, he could win, I suppose. He's in decent form, but he's running. I mean, this is one that Gabby and I agreed with when we talked about it on Talking Horses. I just don't see why this horse with more speed against much, much tougher horses. And if you like this horse, that's fine, but I don't understand how somebody says about this horse, I want to bet him at 2-1. I understand if he's 6-1 and somebody wants to bet him, but 2-1 seems like a bad price, and I probably should wear the dunce cap just as a general concept, so let's throw it out there.
All right. You're on record, Andy. New York's Finest, now 9-5. I think the fans out there, maybe some of his Twitter followers, just put a couple of dollars down to make him 9-5.
We could see. Andy's dunce cap record is actually quite good, and I would like this horse a little bit better if he was maybe posted towards the outside of the other speed types. But like I said in the beginning, he's lightly raced and facing the big boys here today as a 3-year-old.
Tell you what, this Naira Betts late pick 5 has taken the country by storm. The pool over 170,000 as they make their way onto the turf course. NairaBets.com to open your account. Number 4, With Exultation, is for Robertino Diodoro. It's not easy to expand your outfit, and Diodoro came from Canada to Southern California. He was off to a slow start, and he has now become a major force nationwide. And to get into the New York market, he's brought some new owners into the game, and he has succeeded. He's had a lot of seconds this meet. His horses have run well.
He's slowly kind of climbing up that ladder, so to speak, and he's a trainer that he started off maybe not as hot as he was at Belmont, but he's starting to pick that up, that momentum. And I thought it was a very curious move by the New Connections. First off, the claim to cut him back in distance. This was a horse who was going 2 turns on the turf, and he actually had decent seasons in the past going against Graded Stakes Company. So we'll see. Like I said, I thought he got an appropriate setup last time out, but maybe he's just found his niche here in sprinting on the turf.
Speaking of success, Jason Service sends out What's to Talk About, winning at a remarkable 38%. When his horses are good, they're very good. What's to Talk About didn't have the same punch that he showed in his 2 previous victories last time out. What do you make of his chances here?
Well, Andy brings up a good point. This is a horse who has a very short spurt at the top of the stretch, so he needs to be very well timed in terms of his move. And Irad Ortiz knows this horse incredibly well, and usually when we see these Jason Service horses be in form, they stay in form. And talking about a trainer who's had a phenomenal meet, he's batting at about 40% here so far. Incredible
value in the Naira Bets Pick 5. It starts right here. They're loading in for race 7, just a few more to go into the gate. And for the call, we send it to a man who has certainly paid his dues in climbing the ladder. As a track announcer from Birmingham to Saratoga, the Breeders' Cup, and the Triple Crown. Here's Larry Comas with the call.
Here's Dr. Shane moving into the starting gate. Will be followed by Delaquint. Waiting for The Funny Thing and Man of Fire to complete the line here. 9-5 right now on New York's Finest. The favorite is Man of Fire. Steps up to the gate and goes in. And they're all in line. Breaking through the gate here is the favorite. New York's Finest is broken through the starting gate, and Jose Lezcano grabbed him right away, so he did not get away. And they will bring New York's Finest back behind the gate to reload.
Big moment here as the favorite, New York's Finest, restless in the gate, breaks through. He's the 9-5 choice right now. He just went up to 2-1. Let's take another look at this, Gabby.
And we'll go back here as he's just standing there on the track right now, but he kind of throws his head up badly, breaks through the gate. Jose Lezcano looked like he was going to stay on for a second, but luckily enough, though, Frank, he took a hold of the reins and didn't let the horse get away too far. We'll take a look at the head-on of this horse breaking through the gate, reared up, dropped the rider, but as we said, fortunate enough, we can actually see the assistant starter fall down on the ground in the gate as well, but it looks like they've got him behind the gate here, and hopefully everything's well.
Understandably, his price has just gone up to 5-2. It was nice that he didn't get far away, but this obviously cannot help his chances of winning in this race when you have these antics. Andy, Paul, your thoughts?
Well, it's never a good sign. And listen, I mean, when they break through the gate like that, it's not good. The horse is obviously charged up. Now they got to check, because the utmost importance is the equine health, just to make sure something's not bleeding. He didn't, ram his head, and I would think they're going to give him a little time to sort of gather himself and to see if he can settle down here.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know. He probably went up to 5-2 because there's an evening of the odds, because he shouldn't have been 8-5. But hopefully he's okay. I mean, they're not going to let him run if he's not okay. That's the last thing we would ever do here is endanger a horse.
And we've seen this happen several times, actually, so far at the meet, too. We saw even Lady Eli and Antono break through the starting gate before they ran, too. They were loaded up in, and then we obviously see how that finished, Lady Eli getting the victory. So we'll see what happens here as Jose Lezcano still standing there.
Let's get more from Maggie.
And guys, we see that blue halter on New York's Finest, and they just brought out the kind of sub-bridle that they have behind the gate. They have all kinds of equipment for horses if something goes awry at the gate. So I can't see exactly, but it looks as though something broke on his bridle. They're going to have to change it as we see them preparing that. It's going to be a bit of a wait here. It's not good for the other horses standing in the gate. It'll be interesting to see if they take them out and reload them. But New York's Finest, I would say, isn't handling it as well as you'd like to see your post-time favorite. So, like I said, I don't know if they need to change it. They're loading him in. Maybe they'll change it there. So, as you see that bridle there, Frank.
And New York's Finest hearing it from the crowd right now as they're clapping. As he goes into the gate, he has now drifted up to 3-1. It's 4-1 to What's to Talk About, and 5-1 your third choice, Animal Posse. Here's Larry Comas as we are still awaiting Jose Lezcano. We're actually changing the bridle in the gate, so we won't send it to Larry just yet. You can see Jose Lezcano patiently waiting, Gabby, and there's opportunities. The windows remain open if you want to put your last-second opinion in.
And Jose Lezcano did a fantastic job in holding on to this horse. It's not always easy when they break out of the gate like that. So great job by Jose. Great job by the assistant starters putting that halter on and getting him backloaded in the gate. And it looks like they're giving Jose Lezcano is climbing back aboard. Hopefully get set and ready to go soon.
Here is the 7th live on Saratoga Live.
First start now. Jose Lezcano still off of New York's finest, but looks like he's about to get aboard. This horse is now up to 3-1 on the board, but still the favorite. And we're almost ready for a start. They're off. New York's finest had a very good beginning and goes straight out to the early lead. Delaquint is away running in second position. Uncle Huge on the outside is third and now being sent up into second and challenging New York's finest up front. The funny thing is fourth on the far outside, and then it wants to talk about and the Crocheron Kid down toward the inside. A length and a half farther back, and in between horses excluded is right there with Animal Posse to the outside, and then Dr. Shane with Exaltation, Man of Fire right behind them, and the distant trailer is Saratoga Giro. 22.65 the quarter. New York's finest the leader. Uncle Huge puts the pressure on second on the outside. The funny thing is 3 wide as they come to the top of the stretch. Delaquint saves ground right behind the leaders, and they're into the stretch. New York's finest still there, holding off the competition, pulling away to lead by 2.5 now. New York's finest clear from Uncle Huge. And then on the outside comes the funny thing with Exaltation down toward the inside. Delaquint between horses, but it's New York's finest. New York's finest with something in reserve is going to do it, and it's tight for second. It looks like it was with Exaltation and a photo with the funny thing, and right behind them came the Crocheron Kid and a final time of 1 minute 2.26 seconds.
2, 4, and then a photo between the 4 and the 11, and then the 1 finishing fourth. New York's finest. This is a remarkable performance considering the antics before the gate.
Nothing really seemed to faze him as he had those issues breaking out of the gate before the race. Loaded in was the first one out. He did break, it appeared, inward a bit, but he managed to secure that lead and didn't take a lot of pressure on the front end and just wired the fields here. We figured that there's going to be more pace in here, but a perfect trip, perfect ride by Jose Lezcano. Andy, how's that dunce cap?
I'm happy to wear it. I couldn't be more wrong. I have absolutely no idea how they knew this horse was going to win, but they knew, and I didn't.
Can we take this way back again to the top of the lane or around the turn? This is crazy here. Nicky Juarez aboard the 6 in here, the Eloquent, has perfect position. Looks like this horse is going to strike. Watch the 4-horse Wix Exaltation, if we can get back to that. Angel Arroyo literally spun the 6 out. Watch right here. The 6 is loaded on the rail, about ready to go. Watch the 4 right here. Spin him right there. Just absolutely hammers him. Now watch the trip now. The 4 is going nowhere. And now Nicky Juarez has nowhere to go. Now Larry Colmish is saying, now watch the 6. Nowhere to go. He cannot use this horse. Now I give Angel Arroyo credit for taking that hole for 4th, but either Nicky Juarez has got to take that hole, or that's why he got you an inquiry.
I also, is there any way we could show the head on of the start? Because a nice right-hand turn was taken by New York's finest out of the gate, taking out the other speed, the 3, Saratoga Giro.
Yeah, that did happen. The 2 did come out.
For sure.
Well,
took him right out of the race.
This has already happened now. So Nicky's caught now, Gabby, he's just caught. The 4 beat him to the spot, or he got surprised a little bit. I mean, did it cost him?
Ooh.
And then the 4 comes out there late and crushes. Angel Arroyo
watch the 2.
Crushing people.
Watch the 2. 2 just takes the 3 out at the start. It's nice you can come over the start and just take the other speed out. What a game.
The inquiry sign has been posted. The number's flashing. Number 4 with Exaltation, who you just saw in the orange colors of the Winning Move stable, and the 11, The Funny Thing. So hold all tickets, but let there be absolutely no doubt how much the best New York's finest was in this race. Considering, as a track announcer myself, watching races for so many years, this generally can't happen, let alone doesn't happen. When they break through the gate and have those kind of antics, they generally don't do this, Andy.
Well, the horse didn't run off. I mean, as Gabby said beforehand, Lady Eli did win the Grade 1 Diana this year going to the gate.
That's Lady Eli, though, Andy. But
horses.
It's a different class of horse.
I don't know, the way this horse was bet before the race and the way this horse.
No, I'm with you on that.
Also, by the way, walking around the racetrack, with all due respect, this horse got. I deserved to wear the dunce cap, but this horse got away with murder in the front end.
Angel Arroyo cost you the dunce cap. The 6 horse was going to win that race. I'm sorry.
That's classic. Love the work on those graphics. At least the horse had to overcome a little extra if Andy had to put that hat on.
Absolutely.
We're going to take a timeout. We'll get you the result of that inquiry. And there's a look at the National Museum of Racing's Hall of Fame. That's where Tom Durkin is these days.
NyraBet's Pick 5 is now available exclusively online at NyraBets.com. Bet the NyraBet's Pick 5 every race day with a 15% takeout on the last 5 races on the card from the country's best racing at Belmont and Saratoga. Find it nationwide on NyraBets.com right in the Bet Type drop-down menu or at any Nyra track or New York OTB location. NyraBet's Pick 5, racing's best bet.
Welcome back to Saratoga Live, where there's still an inquiry in progress concerning the second place finisher, number 4, with Exaltation. We'll get you the information as soon as the stewards rule. But now let's go to join Maggie, who is with Linda Rice. Yet another City Zip in the winner's circle for her.
Frank, you said it, a City Zip who's emulating his father. And Linda, I'm going to just go out on a limb and call you the unofficial queen of getting horses to win 3 races up here in the short Saratoga meet.
Well, yeah, you know, his father did win 3 graded stakes as a 2-year-old, and this horse won here as a 2-year-old last year. He loves the course, so, you know, I pressed the envelope a little bit here, but, you know, he came through. He has a lot of his father in it, and we have, of course, Voodoo Song, and tomorrow, same thing, but I don't know if we'll get 4, but we did get 3.
And this win not without some drama. Obviously, the bridle breaking. Jose Lezcano was so strong in holding on to him that he nearly pulled the bridle off.
Yes, he did. I mean, he did a terrific job of hanging on to this horse. And usually when things don't start out well at the gates, I was a little concerned that, things wouldn't turn out that well. But, he likes the course, so I was glad we got to run him. And Jose did a terrific job.
And you mentioned about Voodoo Song looking for his 4th win of this 2017 meet. I interviewed you after his 3rd win. I thought you were joking when you were going to the Saranac, but you weren't.
Well, Barry Schwartz wanted to run in the Saranac. I wanted to run an allowance race, but we were going to be about 5 deep on the AEs, and I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and give him a chance.
All right. Can we? Do we think we're going for a 4th?
We're going to try for a 4th. Whether we get a 4th is another story.
All right, Linda. Well, congrats here with New York's finest. Certainly is here today.
Thank you, Maggie.
All right, Frank.
Thank you very much. Linda Rice having a stellar meet once again here. Let's take a look at the virtual lanes for today's 7th race as the stewards continue to deliberate. Here it is.
And we can see the number 4 in the orange silks down on the inside rail. And he just kind of barges through an area that there is no space in. It's going to be happening momentarily as we see the 6. He comes over on the 10 and the 1, completely out of position, guys. He just created his own trip.
Stewards are now just looking at number 4 with exaltation, and the longer it takes generally, the more likely a disqualification will take place when you sweat out inquiries.
Well, it's a chain reaction. He took out the 10, the 11, and the 1 here late. And the more I think about it, I did think he just took the spot from Nicky Juarez. It was a good job by Angel. Now look at the lanes right here. Right to the left of you on the screen, if you're watching, is the 10. The 1 is 63-1 in the middle, guys. He wipes out the 10, the 1, and 11. It's a 3-way reaction here. I would think this horse is going to come down behind the 10 completely off the superfecta.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Be honest with you, why is it taking so long?
Yeah.
It's a good question, but maybe they're trying to determine exactly where to place this horse at this time, because you can't just say this horse is out. You got to put this horse behind the last horse that was affected by this incident. And again, we're not going to speculate on the decisions. We'll wait for the stewards to make that ruling, but in all likelihood, this number would be coming down.
Well, he started off with probably affecting the position of the 6, and then he went on to affect the results likely of the 1, the 11, and the 10. So we'll see what the decision is, and we'll take a look at the pan once again. And this was just, I don't know. You can't, in racing, yes, you can bully your way through small positionings, but I didn't see the space there to go initially.
And Larry Colmus is making the announcement right now, and we are going to have a disqualification here of number 4 with exaltation, who has now been placed 5th. So the result will be 2-11. The 1, the Crocheron Kid, placed 3rd, and the 10, Uncle Huge, placed 4th. 2-11, 1-10. I don't think anyone on our set is surprised.
No surprise there. We saw him pretty much affect the results of the 10, Uncle Huge, guys. So right call in placing him behind him.
Yeah, I don't think there's really anything to say.
And they're lucky that Nick Juarez isn't right here all the time. They would have put him behind the 6.
Well, the stewards, I just don't know what it took so long.
No, I'm with you. And Gabby's completely right. The horse took the position of the 6, but Nick Juarez doesn't probably want to say nothing. He's got 3 mounts here. And then the horse just annihilated 3 other horses. It was very, very simple.
I don't know that he fouled the 6 horse, to be honest with you.
I thought he did.
I mean, you said he sort of took his spot. You were saying to me, I kind of agreed.
I'm sort of looking at it now, like he bulled his way through a spot. Like, Gabby, I mean, you were saying, do you still think he bulled his way through a spot that wasn't there?
I would say in the first offense, I wouldn't say that it was worth a disqualification.
Yeah, of course.
In affecting the 6's path, because it did kind of look like he was fading as is, but he did definitely impede the path of the 1, 10, and the 11.
Here are the prices. This horse was 8-5, then 9-5 during the loading process. He ends up going off at odds of 3-1 and pays $8.30. The 10-cent super, good for more than $1,229 with some nice prices underneath, including the Crocheron Kid at 63-1. The dollar exact at $37.25. Well, here at NYRA, we are leading the way in providing Spanish language broadcasts, and Luis Grandison offers pre-race analysis and entertaining accurate calls in Spanish. Here's an opportunity to tune in and watch him with the call of Orbelution.
Avanzando rápidamente hacia la punta. Orbelution ha pasado de vía hacia el comando y ha botado con John Velázquez con 2, 3, 4, 5 cuerpos, ganando impresionantemente la potranca Evolution con John Velázquez y Top Pleasure. Se ganan de PG Johnson. Segundo está arribando Wild and Ready. Tercero al fin.
Orbelution found a home on the grass when breaking her maiden stylishly, but yesterday she stepped up in dramatic fashion.
She was explosive. You could see her just willing and perched down on the inside, and once the gap opened, Johnny Velasquez didn't really have to ask her. An explosive turn of foot, and, well, perhaps we're going to be seeing her in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies turf after that performance. And Orb, what a sire he has been as a new sire. His progeny has been winning everywhere.
That was the PG Johnson. You can see Johnny V and Todd Pletcher, a team that stands for winning. And we have an opportunity to give a little love to Claiborne Farm. And they've got to be very excited about Orb. Here's Orb having some fun, standing for $25,000. One must wonder how long that price will be available.
Of course, they've been in high demand at the sales. We saw an Orb colt sold for $1 million just down the road at the Saratoga Selected Yearling sale. So they've been selling like hotcakes there.
The 25-year voice of the New York Racing Association and his incredible calls in the Breeders' Cup will always be remembered. You sometimes just go to YouTube to get those races once again because he described them like no other. The great Tom Durkin was looking for something to do after retirement. He has found it.
After I retired, I was looking for stuff to do, frankly, and I always thought I'd like to be a tour guide in Italy because I used to live over there and I used to follow around the tour guides going all around Florence, and I learned the history and the culture of history and culture of Florence and Italy in particular. So I wanted to be a tour guide. That's what I thought I was going to do, and then I thought, well, why not be a tour guide down the street from where you live in the museum? So I asked the folks here, and they said, yeah, it's a good idea, let's do it. And this is Nashua, the great star 3-year-old of 1955. He kind of shared that title with his big rival, who was Swaps. I love telling the story of the father of the turf, Sir Tregonwell Frampton, mostly because I think I just like saying the guy's name, Tregonwell Frampton. This portrait is so far and away, by far and away, the most flattering. This was not an attractive man. And so Bunbury, luckily for us, does not name the filly race after himself, but he named it after his farm, which is called the Oaks. So that's why we have the Kentucky Oaks and the Coaching Club American Oaks and what have you. Well, they decided to make a movie out of it in time, and Jimmy Cagney plays the role of Todd Sloan. And the name of the movie was Yankee Doodle Dandy. He was a rough character. Early on in particular, he was actually found guilty of assault and armed robbery. So in 1863, he gets a bunch of horses together, and he uses the harness track that's over here where Oklahoma is. Vestiges of that still remain. And the meeting's a huge success. So he wanted to buy up all the property across the street for 1864 to open up his own racetrack. And he does. 15 winners of the Travers Stakes were sired by Lexington. But he was a great racehorse as well as a sire. That's why he's the reason they invented the stopwatch. One of the aspects I enjoy about it most is that I actually get to talk and interact with people, which was something I could not do calling races for 43 years. I just had to be up in that booth, and frankly, I didn't want to be up there because they were a distraction to the job I had to do. And I'm a social person, and it's just really nice to be able to socialize and have contact with horse racing fans. It's great. Where are you from?
Vegas.
Oh my God, Vegas. Goodness gracious. You've come to the place that was Vegas before Vegas. So if you guys want pictures, everybody, it seems, is adept at taking pictures with their iPhones. So if you want to come together as a group or two of you are together, you can just hand it off to someone else. Oh no, I got a strict rule. My arm's around the girls. Get Secretariat in here. Don't forget him. Thanks for helping the museum out. And good luck at the track, all right?
What a voice, what a vocabulary, knowledge, depth. and presence. Tom Durkin, one of a kind. And his last call came in the spin-away. There will be a big showdown. It could actually play a huge role in deciding who the top trainer is as Pure Silver meets Separation of Powers.
Undefeated in sprint competition, Eclipse champion Run Happy captured 3 Grade 1 victories and set blistering speed records at both Keeneland and Saratoga. In the Breeders' Cup Sprint, he dominated the world's fastest runners, going 6 furlongs in a record-breaking 1:08 and change. The only horse nominated for 3 Eclipse awards, Run Happy was crowned champion male sprinter, all the while racing 100% drug-free. Champion, millionaire, record breaker, Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Change the way you watch racing forever with the new Naira Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish. From a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. Naira Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and more coming soon. Download Naira Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before.
Welcome back to Saratoga Live, an eventful but formful start to the Naira Bets Pick 5. And coming up next, it's the Pick 4. But you can keep playing with Naira Bets after the Saratoga card ends with a 250,000-point all split on the 5th race at Del Mar. Just bet a $10 base exacta in race 5 at Del Mar, and win or lose, split 250,000 points. It's an easy way to get your Del Mar betting off to a great start. See all the summer promotions and bet racing nationwide at NairaBets.com. Naira Bets, racing's best play. 18 minutes to post for race number 8, maiden special weight, which means there are a ton of stories. First-time starters. We have some experienced runners in here. It's an outstanding field, great pedigrees in this 6.5 furlong contest. And the 6.5 part of it makes it interesting because that's a little bit more stamina you need.
Exactly, and we've got some pretty nice horses who have experience, like the horse that's on your screen, Zap, 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 who gets blinkers on today for the first time, and also Tommy T, the number 4. But as we all know, Chad Brown sends out too, and there's a lot of nice pedigrees in here as well.
8-5 is the price right now on Tommy T, second in the debut, back on the 4th of July, and then a couple of breaks in the workouts. Andy?
I wish Greg was here. This is another one of those races where a person's name is overbet early, as Tommy T is the favorite. That happens so much with common names because the 3 Zap, Zap, Zap will be favored. Zap, Zap, Zap is fine and can win this race. It just feels, Paul, with so much going on in here, I'll say 2 things about Zap, 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 and we'll combine with the one fully vested. Gabby had said earlier, and I agree with her, the fully vested actually ran the better race of the 2 because he did more dirty work in that race and shouldn't be a much bigger price. He's the one who fought it out with the eventual winner, ran so well. Zap Zap kind of picked up the pieces. Todd Pletcher's putting blinkers on maybe to make him more focused, and he's run well in his races. I don't want to knock Zap Zap Zap, but this feels like a grade 2 maiden special weight.
It really is. Watch the 4 in the middle of the racetrack. He starts lengthening here late. And I'm worried about him. Now, 4 on this day. He's a 3 on this day. Zap, Zap, Zap. And there he is. He might want longer. Now, that was 7 furlongs. Now, you're not going to question Todd at 6.5. But the 1A at 13-1 is ridiculous because here's the deal. When you look at, some of the other horses in here, like Swayze the Nine, has got no shot. Fully Vested ran a nice race last time out, and that was the first time when Lasix can improve, and I just don't get why the horse is that big of a price.
Yeah, the board is a bit skewed by the money on Tommy T, but I agree with that logic. Tommy T, if we can get to the 4 Tommy T in gear, he ran very well in his debut. He broke slowly. He took a lot of money. He broke slowly. And he couldn't catch 5-8 Express at the rating slowly. 5-8 Express came back and ran a high 90s buyer speed figure here in the next race. And you'll see at the start, Tommy T is the 4 horse here, comes out outside the 3. Yeah. You can't break like that when horses run big races like 5-8 Express did. They even tried him in the King's Bishop. Yeah. He'll end up being the second choice. If you look at the multis, the 3 is favored, the 4 is the second choice. And basically, other horses are similar prices. The first-time stars, the 5, the 8, the 2. He ran fine in here. He could win this race, and if you get 3-1, 7-2, maybe that's fair. I don't know.
Yeah, I take this backtrack all day because he rushed up. More times than not, when horses get left, you see him sort of settle. He rushed up, got into the race. I liked how he battled for second, chasing a pretty good horse.
Maggie, there are some very interesting firsters in this race.
Correct, Andy. But first, I'm going to talk about the favorite in here. That is number 4, Tommy T, whom I think is a talented runner. At least his work tab would suggest that, as he is very, very fit here in his second start. He's also a lot more sharp. So I would think that he might break a little bit more keenly here today, going the 6.5 furlongs as he turns back a half a furlong. So he's very intriguing here. And just as I was talking to trainer Bobby Ribera, that he's a very naturally fast horse. He works by himself in the morning, and he tells the rider to go 49, and he can't help but go 47. So he's just a fast guy. Moving on to those first-time starters, number 2 is CZ Rocket. He is one that sold, I believe, for the highest price of an OBS open sale, which takes place in June for $800,000. The son of City Zip. He comes in here. He's very fit-looking. He's a good size. I watched his workout, though, going back to a gate workout here at Saratoga where he worked with Amity, another Al Stall horse, where he got left at the gate and made up all kinds of ground. Looked good in the fact that he was able to make that up, but boy, he's a little bit of an awkward mover, so we'll see how he does here. And looking at number 5, I Can Do Anything. He's okay. He's classy acting. He's fit. He's a little bit on the weaker side given his competition, relatively speaking, that he's a little bit more smaller, but I like the way he presents himself in that, well, actually he's kind of falling asleep now, so we'll see if he wakes up out on the track as we have to take a break here on Saratoga Live. We will have this very live-looking maiden field here for race number 8 as we will be right back. Stay tuned, everybody.
Grade 1 winner Lee traveled the world competing against the best of his generation. A graded stakes winner on both dirt and turf, he set a new track record in the Grade 1 Don Handicap and retired with earnings of more than $2.3 million. With his much anticipated first foals hitting the ground this year, the sky is the limit for this promising young stallion, Lee, at Claiborne Farm.
Make NyraBets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NyraBets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NyraBets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NyraBets.com.
Welcome back to Saratoga Live. The horses are heading onto the track for today's 8th race. This show, of course, brought to you by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. We certainly appreciate our partners, among those stallions, the great Run Happy. And this race, we scratched the one Greek alphabet. And so we will kick off the post parade with a son of Discreet Cat, the 1A, fully vested.
Comes out of a nice third-place finish off of an 8-month layoff. Can improve on it, can definitely win.
A big boy is number 2, CZ Rocket, a son of City Zip, who trainer Al Stahl said is twice his size.
There's a lot of horses in here that are showing bullets. This is one of them, and is getting played at the window. Pricey purchase at the sale, $800,000.
Zap, Zap, Zap's odds are coming down, as Andy suggested. He's 5-2 currently.
He's a logical player here, but he's had his chances and will be favored, and there are many other options here, but can win.
Here's something obscure I found out last night. Tommy T's owner, Joseph Bucci, owns the largest salt mine in the country. Here's his Tommy T.
And Tommy T was big last time out, sort of got left and rushed and was giant and deserves to be your favorite. But it looks like the 3 at the end of this might be.
A lot of steam on number 5, I Can Do Anything, who is supposedly a very fast son of Uncle Mo.
We'll see if he takes some money. He certainly found a very tough spot. It's not always easy to ship to Saratoga and win.
I doubt number 8, Pendleton, is named after my favorite quarterback, Joe Pendleton, played by Warren Beatty in Heaven Can Wait.
Well, what about the St. Louis Cardinal, Terry Pendleton, that won an MVP?
The 9 is Swayze for Steve Asmussen. Didn't do much in his debut, but Steve is very good with young horses.
Actually ran okay in his debut, considering he broke slowly in there and rushed up towards the pace, but it's such a tough race, somebody has to be the longest shot.
And number 10, Unlock the Potential for Chad Brown, a son of Crown of Thorns.
This could be the sneaky one. Crown of Thorns stands for $2,000. This one went in auction for $220,000 and looks pretty good in the post parade.
2 of them vying for favoritism. Number 3, Zap, Zap, Zap at 5-2. Joined the barn of Todd Pletcher upon the retirement of Mike Hushin.
And this horse ran well last time out. And it's, you know, sometimes experience is huge when you have an abundance of first-time starters. And this horse has a 7/8 race over the track, and he's cutting back a little bit to 6.5 furlongs. He is actually the workmate in his most recent work with Neolithic. So there are some things to like about it. But, guys, wouldn't you kind of prefer fully vested out of that last race at a better price?
Yeah. I think they both can win. You know, listen, I think
they both win, yeah.
I look at this race, and I say to myself, I don't think there's going to be anybody that wins this race. And I'm going to say I'm absolutely shocked, and that includes the 9 Swayze. This race is an impossible race, but an absolutely thrilling race. And one thing I will say out of this race, somebody out of this race is going to go on and win a stake.
Yeah, I'm with you. This is the best maiden race, the 3-year-old race we've had. There's some good horses. Here's the thing. that I think a lot of bettors will look at, or a lot of people, you're searching for the steam. You're searching for that first-time starter. Well, here's the deal, and we're going to take a look at the 5 because this horse has been the steam, so reportedly out of Maryland, been working guns. But here's the deal. The 3 and 4 are real horses and have ran real races.
And there's an $800,000 firster on the inside, and there are 2 Chad Brown horses that cost $600,000. As you pointed out, the highest crown of thorns ever to sell at public auction at $220,000. That's like $10 million for a Giant's Causeway. So he better have his running shoes on, and maybe he will. These connections have been very good up here, and the money has been right on their horses.
No, you're right. And you see the 2. And, you know, the 2 Chad Brown horses are drawn well to the outside. Now, you see the 5 there, I Can Do Anything. You know, son of Uncle Mo. There is the 8, Pendleton. And you talk about the son of Giants Causeway. Maybe he wants to go longer, but Chad usually places his horses in the right spots.
Keep in mind, this is the same barn the timeline came out of. Now, he was working down in Florida during the winter and working well, but there was a large gap in his workouts before he started working again. Is he still that horse?
There is a look.
All right, taking a look at number 8, Pendleton, out on the track. I want to kind of go back to the time I saw him in the paddock. He was very green. It was like he was a 2-year-old making his debut. He was screaming the entire time here. And furthermore, we saw that little note pop up that he's a half to Mrs. McDougal, was a very accomplished turf filly, and he's by Giants Causeway. To me, doesn't make sense that he's entered in a dirt sprint first time out, but a lot of times that's when Chad does score here. I can't endorse him first time out, to be honest, guys. The way he was acting, the way he looks physically, he looks more suited to what his pedigree would suggest, and he just looks as though he'll benefit from a start. I like Chad's other runner, though, as we heard Paulie say, a huge purchase price for a Crown of Thorns son. And, you know, I'm a little bit concerned. This horse did work 21 flat last year at the OBS sales, and that Crown of Thorns, well, some of his better running did come on synthetic tracks, and that is a synthetic track down there at OBS, but once again, out here on the dirt track, he has a very fluid stride. I love the way he's composed himself. He looks like he's suited to sprinting here. We'll see if he handles the dirt, but he's going to be my pick here. I'm going to take a little bit of a shot with him because he just presented and checked off every box for me in a first-time starter, Frank.
There is a look at this 3-year-old out of a mare named Lyrique, who is by Rock Hard 10. That mare ran 9 times, 1 win, 1/3, and both of those performances came on the turf. Gabby, what are your thoughts?
Well, as they said, there's a reason why this horse was purchased for $220,000, considering that Crown of Thorns stands for $2,000, this Florida bred. It's interesting, you know, because this horse was working at Monmouth, then he transitioned up here. Kind of strikes you as the type that maybe Chad Brown thought he wasn't ready for some of those three-year-old races in the beginning of the meet, but he sure looks good on the track, and I love what Maggie's saying about him too. And the reports are that he's been slightly outworking the other Chad Brown horse in Pendleton, but if you see Chad Brown sending out horses, they're going to be tough.
Some money is coming in for number 2, CZ Rocket, owned by Frank Fletcher's Racing Operations, a very successful man in Arkansas who's had some expensive horses in his time. This one bought by Donato Lanning. Son of City Zip. He's a big boy. I talked to Al Stahl. He said this horse will be running late. He's not that quick out of the gate, but once he gets a few strides under him, look out for that big stride, guys.
I wouldn't want to be spotting the field in this race. So he might be a good horse, and Al is a terrific trainer, and he's taking money, and Al likes to bet a few shekels, so they probably like him. But, Paul, this is not a race where I would want to give any horse an advantage.
Yeah, I'm with you there, but I'll tell you what, this horse just took a hit. He was 8-1 down to 5-1, and he continues to go down in price. Yeah, the gate's going to be a big part of this because – I don't care how talented the 2 and 5 are. If they make any kind of mistake, they're going to get beat by the 3 or the 4.
You know what's funny here, and maybe it's because he has 2 horses in the race, but all the live horses are everybody but Chad Brown's 2 first-time starters. And I wonder if that's a bit of a function of the fact that he has 2 runners in here, not 1.
Maybe a little bit. But Gabby made a good point that the 10's outworking the 8, and when they were walking out of the paddock, I'm not slighting anything, Chad was giving instructions to the rider on the 10. Now, he might already give instructions to Jose Ortiz. He doesn't have to, but he was giving strict instructions to Javier Castellano, which is telling me maybe he wants this horse involved early.
All I know is when they drew this race and I first looked at the past performances, I thought the 8th race on Friday might turn out to be the best race of the week. I have been looking forward to this race, these guys, since they drew the race, and I think we're going to see a very, very memorable race regardless of who wins.
Here are the selections of our analysts. Gabby and Andy go to number 4. Tommy T making career start number 2. Paula Duca's on Zap, Zap, Zap. Maggie Wolfendale has Unlock the Potential. Zap, Zap, Zap gets the blinkers on, Gabby, and this is his second start for trainer Todd Pletcher, so a little bit of an audible after that first start on August 5th.
Well, Todd Pletcher's so good with any of his maidens, whether they're 2, 3, 4, whatever, at 7 furlongs on the main track here at Saratoga. It's just something he's excellent with. So, I mean, this horse did run well last time out. The blinkers go on, maybe to get a little bit quicker out of the gate. I definitely think he's a must-use, and experience always pays off in these baby races. But as we're mentioning, there are some really well-touted horses who have excellent pedigree. So who knows what these other first-time starters are capable of.
And fans who are watching New York racing haven't been used to seeing Horacio de Paz coming in with guns blazing. 4 wins and some right off the screen. And he's got a fast son of Uncle Mo here for the Sagamore farm.
And we're taking a look at the 4 Tommy T right now. And I like this horse best just because I thought he was very courageous on the inside, kind of out-finishing the horse that was just to his outside. You know, Phi Beta Express is a very fast horse who he lost to first time out. He ran the Alan Jerkins. So he simply just chased a faster horse. But expect this horse to have much faster gate speed today.
The pick 4 pool over $637,000 on races 8 through 11. The horses are approaching the starting gate. Less than a minute to post. Co-favorites now, Zap, 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 and Tommy T. And then 5-1 for both CZ Rocket and I Can Do Anything. Andy, Paul, your thoughts on how to attack this race wagering-wise?
You know, it's very hard.
You watch and enjoy.
Yeah.
The 1A is the only bet in the race. I don't even have the horse, but
he's a big value.
I can't believe he's 10-1.
You could, I would say Maggie liking the 10 of the 2 Chad Brown horses. I bet the 10 at 11-1, and I bet the 1 went down to 9-1. The 1. I think it's a good point. Take a price in here and hope for the best because this is a very, very tough field, and any one of them has a chance.
Yeah. Who will step up and get the cap and gown? Will it be one of the well-regarded firsters, or will experience be the key? The blinkers go on, Zap, Zap, Zap. Tommy T comes in off a little bit of a freshening. They're the co-favorites in the final stages of wagering. Pendleton takes up his spot. Here is Swayze. Last couple left to load. Let's send it up to Larry Colmus for the call.
Swayze has moved into the starting gate. Here comes Zap, Zap, Zap into line, followed by Tommy T. And that will leave 2 left to load. I Can Do Anything and Unlock the Potential. 2-1 right now on Zap, Zap, Zap. The current favorite in the betting here. Just waiting for Unlock the Potential to take up position in the outside stall. Goes in. They are all in line. They're off. And it's fully vested with a very good beginning. Here's Tommy T on the inside, flashing early foot and grabbing the lead with I Can Do Anything taking second. Then Zap, Zap, Zap fourth on the inside. They're followed by Pendleton, Unlock the Potential, Swayze, and CZ Rocket at the back of the pack. Up the backstretch they go, and it is Tommy T, the leader by a neck. I Can Do Anything pressing the pace on the outside second. These two by the first quarter in 21.89 seconds. Zap, Zap, Zap and fully vested. Head and head right behind them. Third and fourth by 3. Pendleton is fifth. Beginning to gather stride here, but still 6 lengths behind. 4 lengths more back to CZ Rocket. Swayze and Unlock the Potential at the back of the field. Tommy T, I Can Do Anything. Fully vested comes up to them on the outside. 3 of them together. Zap, Zap, Zap behind them, and then Pendleton in fifth. 45.01 for the half, and they're into the stretch, and it is Tommy T turning for home in front by 2. Tommy T the leader as they arrive at the 8th pole. Zap, Zap, Zap second trying to close in. CZ Rocket has kicked it in and is putting in a bid. Now second on the outside and coming up to Tommy T. Here's CZ Rocket. Right by Tommy T as Swayze takes third. CZ Rocket wins in hand at the end over Tommy T. And then it was Swayze and Zap, Zap, Zap in 116.21.
From last to first, CZ Rocket, a huge son of City Zip with an eye-catching graduation.
As predicted, we saw a pretty exciting race here as this horse did make a huge run from the back. The pace did come apart a bit, and Tommy T ran well to be second when you look at how well the closers did after that. But the winner really put on a nice show.
He did. He put on a show because right here, I looked at you, I was like, wow, this 2 is running right now. The 3 had Trip of Life here and just had no punch. The 2's just going to come over the top. And, you know, Frank, you said right before the race, horse might not break, but he can finish. Boy, were you all right on.
Paul, you're absolutely right. Immediately coming out of the gate, this horse did not break sharply whatsoever. He was last at the first call, but he wasn't last at the final call.
Mr. Fletcher has put a lot of money into this game, and he has a talented colt on his hands. This horse set the all-time record for a June OBS 2-year-old in training at $800,000. And they've got to be very excited about what they see here after he did not break that alertly. It's so tough to win from the rail, Gabby.
It is, and you could see him maybe break in a little bit as he did break from the rail post, and there's that openness on the track, but he was very professional after that.
2-4-9-3, 6-1 for your winner, CZ Rocket. Tomorrow in the Woodward, presented by Naira Bets, Rally Cry will try to get by Gun Runner, and he comes off a big victory in the Alydar.
Visit the new Rivers Casino and Resort, the Capital Region's only destination for live table game action and where the hottest new slots are paying out millions. Sign up for Rush Rewards and play up to $500 in slots on us. Plus, we'll double any casino offer and match your tier. Rivers Casino and Resort.
The big day is here. You've told everybody. You've dressed the part. Your heart is pounding in your chest. Your horse is rolling down the stretch. He's coming. He's closing. He's the winner! You're a winner with Parting Glass Racing. PartingGlassRacing.com. PartingGlassRacing.wow.
Kentucky Derby winner Orb has emerged as one of the nation's most promising young stallions. The leading freshman sale sire of weanlings, yearlings, and 2-year-olds, his first runners are off to a fast start. His debut winners have dazzled on the track, scoring on both dirt and turf. In the sales rep, his yearlings continue to command top prices, including the $1 million co-sale topper at Saratoga. Outstanding value, outstanding results, or standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back to Saratoga Live. There's an opportunity to get a $200 sign-up bonus. Bet the Saratoga action right from your home by opening a Naira Bets wagering account and use the promo code PICK5 at sign-up. Just enter that code and bet 200, get 200, or you can bet 100 and get 100. $14.60, the price on CZ Rocket. Great training job by Al Stahl Jr. having this boy ready to roll. Maggie is with the jockey who is enjoying progeny of City Zip right now.
That he is. I think he should say a nice little prayer up for City Zip up in horse heaven as of now. But Jose Lezcano here in the winner's circle. Jose, first I got to ask you, how's your arm for holding on to New York's finest when he broke to the gate?
Oh, very good. Thank you.
Very good. No problem. No sweat off your back. But taking a look at this horse here, that is CZ Rocket, a horse you had worked in the morning. And had he shown you the potential that he showed here today?
Well, I worked at one time. He worked pretty good and galloped out very good. And, you know, I don't know too much about him, but he's feel like he got a lot of talent, you know.
He does, and a horse that doesn't break that fast or that cleanly, but certainly comes with a big run. Do you think, you know, he's a horse that debuted going 6.5. Do you think he goes longer than this?
Oh, yeah. He's, definitely he can go longer than this. You know, he's broke kind of slow a little bit, and I had to stay in the back. I can rush a little bit if I want, but I let him in the back, and gonna ask if he's come running, you know, and win the race.
He looked good at the finish line. He looked good here in the winner's circle. Jose, congrats on a big day.
Thank you.
Frank?
Great job, Jose Lezcano. Thank you very much, Maggie. Everyone's looking forward to the Woodward presented by Naira Bets. Grade 1 event at 1 1/8. We've already seen Gunrunner take care of business right here. He's won 4 of 6 at Saratoga, including the Whitney last time out. Here's the field for the Woodward. 2-5 on Travis Stone's morning line for Gunrunner, and that's an accurate line.
Yes, it's going to be a very good field there. Obviously, Gunrunner, though, is the horse to beat. It's going to be very tough to beat him. But this race is a little bit tougher than the Whitney, I will say.
And this is a very tough place for favorites over the years. Andy Sterling, you're not the type of guy that wants 1-5 when it's all said and done. What do you think? How do you attack the Woodward?
Well, I think the Gunrunner is probably going to win the race. I'm going to take a small shot and pick against him because just for sort of an interesting discussion about the race. But I don't see how you can possibly be against Gunrunner. He's been sensational this year. But I will say this is his sternest test since he was in Dubai.
Yeah, it is. He's facing 2 real horses. Neolithic has got $2.1 million in the bank, and Rally Cry is a horse that's coming up. At least he's moving up in class, and he's like on a hot streak, and I think he's getting better and better. But Gunrunner, you know, I was mentioning something to somebody last night. They asked me about Gunrunner and Arrogate, and you know what? Arrogate keeps making mistakes here and there. But Gunrunner, even in the afternoon, Andy, and on the racetrack, is just not making mistakes. He's sharp as a tack right now.
And he's such a consistent runner. He's clearly improved dramatically from his 3-year-old form.
100,
but you
that's
see
true.
that gradual improvement in him. And if you look at Gunrunner, he essentially has barely taken a break for 1.5 years. And you have to love him. He's a real throwback type horse. He danced all the dances in the 3-year-old Triple Crown Trail. He danced the dances during the Triple Crown and afterwards last year. And he's better than ever. I mean, Gunrunner's a horse that you can't not be a fan of.
All right, that's quite a statement for Gunrunner. Let's face it, his record speaks for itself.
Yeah, I mean, I just think he's terrific. But that doesn't mean that he has to win this race.
Here's Florent Giroux.
He's a great student. I would love to add the Woodward, you know, to the great resume of Gunrunner. He's been a fantastic horse, you know, and looks like he really turned the corner, you know, from last year to this year. And I'm just hoping he just keep on winning.
That's what you call the perfect passenger when you're sitting on a loaded weapon like Gunrunner. What a talented individual. Rally Cry has always been well thought of, Gabby, and he's now won 4 of 10 starts, but he had a coming out party earning 110 Beyer. It's his second triple-digit Beyer in his last 3 starts when he devastated the competition in the Alydar.
Exactly. They've always thought highly of him, and quite frankly, sometimes he's been a little bit disappointing, but this was a huge performance in the Alydar, guys.
No, he's a talented horse, and as Frank was alluding to, they loved this horse in his debut when he lost it, I think 30 cents to the dollar.
Dollar.
But he's obviously very talented. Here's my question for you, Paul. This is the day he has to step up. He doesn't have to win, but he's got to run big tomorrow because he has to show when he faces a top-class foe that he can be contentious.
He's got to take it to Gunrunner. Someone needs to take it to Gunrunner. Someone needs to go to the front, and that's how you win races. Let me tell you something. When you try to rate off a horse like Gunrunner, who is 9 for 16 in the form that he's in, you're not going to win. Johnny V needs to send Rally Cry and hope he gets brave because he's in good form, and hope that Gunrunner has been lollipopping around the racetracks, not that sharp. That's
yeah,
not the way he wins the race.
You want to put some pressure on him, and I think he's the worst who can do it. Listen, Neolithic can do it as well.
Yeah, he can.
But Gunrunner is outside of him, and maybe Neolithic sits on the inside. It's an interesting chess match. And listen, last year we went into the Woodward with Frosted as this huge favorite, and everybody said, well, Frosted can't possibly lose this race. And, you know, I was one of the people that thought it would be hard to beat him in there as well. And these horses do get beaten. Now, I will say that Gunrunner is running faster figures around 2 turns than Frosted is, or was.
There'll be no horseshoe for Gunrunner. It's been understood. He won't be carrying around someone else's shoe. Let's hear from Todd Pletcher, who has 2 shots to beat him.
Yeah, that was really his first time at a 1 1/8 where he's able to get into the flow of the race, and you know, we got the trip we were wanting. That's what he seems to do best is when he gets into a good, comfortable rhythm, he's able to just keep clicking off those solid fractions. So we're hoping we can get a similar trip. Well, I think it's a challenge, you know, to step up into Grade 1 company, especially with a horse the quality of Gunrunner. But you know, we feel like, based on the strength of his performance in the Aladar, that it's time to give it a try. He's always been a very impressive horse to watch breeze. That's why we've always had high hopes for him, and the Aladar was kind of that breakthrough performance that we've been hoping for.
Got to take a shot. It's a field of 5. And if you're looking to maybe get a little wagering value, you might want to try a trifecta. And we have a 10% trifecta winners bonus. You can earn 10% winners bonus on your trifecta bet on the Woodward Stakes tomorrow with Naira Bets. Hit the try on your mobile device on nairabets.com and earn a 10% winners bonus. It's offered every day on a selected Saratoga Stakes, so visit nairabets.com for the full schedule and to bet all the great racing at Saratoga. The Spinaway. What a race this one is going to turn into. On paper, it looks like a match race between Separation of Powers, who was nothing short of amazing in her debut, and Pure Silver, a New York bred who has passed every test thus far. She has the experience edge. Gabby, your thoughts?
It's a very potent field here, and Pure Silver, well, you could argue that she might have the advantage of being posted to the outside of Separation of Powers. Both fillies have a tremendous amount of speed, and guys, well, she's got the bottom underneath of her, but she's going to have to face a main foe in Separation of Powers.
Put the dunce cap on me if Pure Silver hits the exacta in this race. I don't like this horse at all. The other speeds got left in the last race. She rode a gold rail. She's not outrunning Separation of Powers, and she's not holding off Lady Ivanka down the stretch. It's all 1-3 or 3-1 in the spin away for my money.
I'm with you on that thing. I think a lot of people, listen, they're not naming their daughters Ivanka right now, but Lady Ivanka's got a shot in this race. I think she's getting dismissed a little bit. She was pretty good, but Separation of Powers was at another level. She was running. She runs a little bit like her sire, Candy Ride, a little bit all over the place with the legs, but when your legs are moving, look at that action. I mean, the race was over early.
I'll tell you, Jose Ortiz, I was in the winner's circle watching this race. Jose said to me after the race, he said, I don't even feel like that was 50% of what she has to give me.
She wasn't even blowing hard,
She won so easily in there. She's a very impressive runner. And listen, they win their maiden race first time out. She wasn't a good inside. I don't want to be on, you have to be fair about what it was. She's got to face Pure Silver, who is more experienced, and Lady Ivanka could sit behind them and pick it up. So it's a very interesting field. And Frank, nobody wants to make any political statements, but Separation of Powers against Lady Ivanka, a little comedy there, Frank?
I think maybe we're going to have to get you a dunce visor if you're wrong on this one, since the hat has already been used today. I won't touch that humor with a 10-foot pole. Let's talk about the cross-country Pick 4 promotion, however, because we have a special all-stakes cross-country Pick 4, which includes Saratoga and Del Mar. And with Naira Bets, you earn a 10% winner's bonus on the sequence that starts in the spin-away, race 10 on the Saratoga card. You can find the details and play that cross-country Pick 4 nationwide at nairabets.com. Racing's best play. Saturday, our show is on from 3:30, a special start time on Saturday on Fox and MSG Plus, 3:30 to 6 Eastern. We'll show you the Grade 3 Saranac. Our friends from NBCSN will be here from 6 to 7 Eastern to bring you the Woodward and the Spinaway. We're going to take a timeout, and we're going to talk about Jim McIngvale stepping up for his community after this.
Summer of Dreams 4 is back at Foxwoods, and we've got guaranteed millions in cash and prizes up for grabs. Sign up free for Foxwoods Rewards and earn points playing our World Series of Poker and the Big Dream Slot Tournament with Mario Lopez. Also, try our new skill-based slots. Then, use your points for summer wonders like Lobster Madness, golf at the Lake of Isles, and shop the region's only indoor Tanger outlets. Foxwoods Resort Casino, the wonder of it all. Find your wonder now at foxwoods.com.
Change the way you watch racing forever with the new Naira Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish. From a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. Naira Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and more coming soon. Download Naira Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before.
One of our big sponsors on this show, Gallery Racing's Run Happy, who stands at Claiborne Farm. There's a look at him, available for $25,000. He bred to a lot of mares, and people know his owner, Jim Mattress Mac McInvale, as a man who's had many horses and many trainers for that matter. But right now, he has stepped up for his city of Houston. They have been devastated by Hurricane Harvey. This is a look at his gallery furniture store that he basically once again made available for the victims of this very difficult time. He sent out big trucks to pick people up, and he is just a one-of-a-kind individual. He has a heart of gold, loves to help people. That's what he says his calling is. And if you want to help, go to redcross.org, or you could text Red Cross to 90999 and get a $10 donation in. Call 1-800-HELP-NOW to help those affected by Hurricane Harvey. Today's 9th race is up next. It starts the late pick 3. We have a scratch of the 1A and the 12, and it's wide open. Munchkin Money, the 7-2 choice. Let's go to Maggie for more.
Frank, you said it in a nutshell. This race is wide open. It's a all-out war, and you're dealing with some horses that are just struggling to kind of get through this condition. You have some horses stepping up, and we'll look at one of those, and that is number 1, Frosty Lady. But the thing with Frosty Lady is that she has won 4 of her 11 career starts, and that I like. I know she's faced some lesser company as of now. Now, you'll see her. She is a bit washy. She's always like that, but she's at least kind of harnessed it. She's keeping it under control as she's assuaged by that with the accompaniment of the pony. So I think she's certainly a player here as she'll go out for the white hot Jason Service. Moving on to a bomb. An absolute bomb, just bear with me. And Electrified, look, she has not run fast enough, but I just thought she was intriguing, getting back out to a longer distance around the 2 turns. She's only tried it once before in her career. And yeah, she ran second, but a slower fig, albeit, but she is sharp here. She looks fantastic. And I don't know, I just thought that this race was so kind of muddled that maybe you could get a big price worked into your exotics here, Frank.
There you go. Not bad. 31-1. And the 1-horse Frosty Lady 6-1. One thing about Jason Service, when his horses get good, they're very good. Don't let the margin of victory scare you. Here's a look at number 6, Munchkin Money. Daughter of Freud, makes the 3rd start under the care of Brian Lynch. He took over this year. What do you guys think?
Well, Munchkin Money, and first and foremost, I think this race is absolutely inscrutable. You could make a case for several runners in here, but Munchkin Money, well, she in her first debut out of the Brian Lynch barn, she was brilliant in that event, and her subsequent start, kind of you can look on paper and see that she was a beaten favorite. But Andy, we'll get you in on this one. Didn't you think that this was kind of a curious ride?
Very curious.
I don't know why this horse was as far back. This is the. Yeah, I don't know why Munchkin Money is far back. What I don't like is that when she ends up ducking inside, she's at least sort of supposed to be 3rd, and she didn't finish up. That bothered me a little bit here.
A tiny bit. I'm with you on that.
But it is weird, right? Because she was forwardly placed when she won 2 back. So why was she so far back last time?
Yeah, you know, it was a weird ride because she got so much left, and then Irad took her all the way back to last. And what you're talking about, Gabby, was the swerve on it says swerve. The horse sort of fishtailed and went really wide, and then you're right, had to cut down the rail. Didn't finish great, and I'm wondering, you know, did she regress in her last start? And do you want to take 7-2 in this wide open field?
I think she's the horse. Personally, I look at this race, and it's 6-11, and it doesn't mean either one's going to win or either one's going to hit the board. But for me, the 6 and 11 were the 2 that I was interested in. After that, I was completely befuddled. But I do think the 11 is an improving lightly raced horse for Bruce Levine. I'll tell you something. It's very hard to win in Saratoga, and over the years, Bruce Levine has struggled up here. And he's just a trainer. He's a very, very, very good trainer. But up here, he has really been running the right horses. For him to have 6 wins and 26 starts, that's almost remarkable. She did kind of get a good trip and pick up the pieces behind a fast pace last time. But I still think she's okay and improving.
Yeah, I'm with you there. You know, Bella the Spa got a good trip. It was the first time with Lasix, first time going long. It was the first time for everything for her. I thought she passed the test. I'm with you that she had a good trip, and it might look like, okay, she sort of sucked up second. But I thought it was okay. I really did for the first time going long. And I love the freshening. He's put a couple works, 3 works over the training track over the turf here.
Frosty Lady is coming off 2 wins. Now, I didn't like a Linda Rice horse earlier today off 2 wins and looked like the fool that I am. I don't get this horse at all. She was lucky to win last time with a very good trip and get through. She won a mediocre field, race 2 back. She is going to have to get awfully lucky, in my opinion, to win this race.
I still can't believe she won this race.
It's amazing.
It really is, because there's about 4 other horses behind her that were blocked. And you take this race with a grain of salt, because the horse on the inside is getting blocked, the other horse is getting blocked.
She was swallowed up.
But she dug in right here like no other.
That's amazing.
I still can't believe it. I still can't believe she won that race. I can watch it about 10 times.
I needed the other 2 horses. But of course you need the other 2 horses in those races. This is a fun race. You know, maybe we're right about the 6, maybe the 11, but after that, anyone that wins, I'll go, okay.
Frosty Lady, Jason Service wins a lot of races. I guess that's what happens when you're flirting with 40%. You get those incredible bobs and victories when you look like you maybe get 3rd at best. Horses are about to come onto the track for race number 9. Again, this starts the late pick 3 here on this 11-race program this afternoon. 9 minutes to post. A very contentious affair. As you can see, Munchkin Money 7-2 right now, the tepid favorite.
Exactly. This is a race that, like I said, you could make a case for several horses. There are several horses that are coming out of awkward trips. We'll dive into that a little bit more, but Munchkin Money's taking the money.
A very eager Frosty lady, wasting no time in the post parade. She's going to be all by herself shortly. This 6-year-old mare was claimed 3 starts back and has back-to-back wins in those famous colors of Michael Dubb.
Yeah, maybe a warm-up that's being aggressive because of the outside post, maybe going to use some of her early speed.
Here's Hollywood Cat for Carlos Martin.
Got the maiden victory 2 starts back against maiden $40,000 company, but dives into deeper waters today.
Maggie touched on the intrigue of Electrified for Leah Jarmati.
A horse that's been sort of running even, so might want a little bit more distance.
Alabama Bound finished 5th in her most recent start, but her best, she's kind of shown 2 different kind of strategies, on the lead and off the pace.
Well, surprised to see her as far back as she was last time out. Expect her to be more forwardly placed today.
A freshened up Out of Trouble carries the number 5 Saddle Towel.
Yeah, another horse. You look at Alabama Bound, the 4, the 5. There's a lot of horses here that need one way to go, and the 5's one of them. She needs her own way on the front end.
We just saw Munchkin Money's last start on August 10th.
Impressed in her first start for Brian Lynch. Can she get back to the winner's circle in her 3rd start for the same connections?
Chad Brown's Sweet August Lady is number 7.
I think she's the confusing one in here. She's a 3-year-old, so she'll get a tiny bit of weight. Her race 2 back was good. Last time a little confusing, but her interest was late in the race, so maybe she can close into some fast fractions today.
Long shot 8 Votrakura is very familiar with some of her rivals.
And she's one that rallies well off the pace. She's going to be hoping for that pace to come back to her today.
Back to the turf for About That Base.
No trouble for me.
Number 10 is Amazing Anne. It was owned by the Midwest Thoroughbreds. Danny Gargan looking for another win today.
Her last victory was going wire to wire. Curious to see if they employ those tactics today, but she's got speed and posted to the outside.
Not an easy post for Lemmy Dance, but she's lightly raced and has shown some talent.
Goes from Irad Ortiz to Jose Ortiz, and 5-1, definite player in here.
Next is number 13, Light Rain, a huge long shot from a very difficult post.
Yeah, draws in 55-1, and the lowest odds that this horse has been in her last 18 starts has been 34-1.
6 minutes to post for this 9th race. There's a look at Rajiv Mirage, and he has overcome some major obstacles in his career, and he's doing a great job.
Make NyraBets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NyraBets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NyraBets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NyraBets.com.
Welcome back to Saratoga Live, where there are 3 minutes to post for race number 9. It's the start of the late pick 3. And let's talk a little Saratoga Showdown. Checking in on the leaderboard for the Saratoga Showdown. Remember, the highest mythical bankroll earns 50,000 Naira Bets points. That's $50 right to your Naira Bets account. And we have a big leader here. GD Bets is galloping right now. It's free to play, and we'll keep updating the leaderboard throughout the show. Join in on the fun at SaratogaShowdown.com. Getting back to today's 9th race, the 4 is Alabama Bound. Taking some play here, 6-1. Has taken quite a bit of action. Has been in this one other than category for some time, but a horse, Gabby, maybe on her best day could make an impact.
Well, she's got a weird form, especially in her last race, because she's a filly that's more prone to be forwardly placed. Her more successful races are when she's on the lead. So it was very odd to see her taken well back from off of the pace and out of her running style. Guys, wouldn't you say the same? And do you think that she's going to be maybe the likely pace setter in here?
I think I agree with every single thing Gabby said. She may be saying a fast pace here, but I agree with what Gabby said.
She can go faster than anybody else in here. She has a couple races where she goes 110, 109 for the 6-furlong clip. I mean, she was taken back by design because they had the outside post last time, and I think they were just trying something new. You know what? She didn't run that bad. She kicked on okay, but Gabby's right. Her best running's up front. And the way this racetrack is playing, she's dangerous here, even though she doesn't love to win races.
No, that's a very good, all good points. Hollywood Cat, is the 2 Hollywood Cat improved?
Yeah, here's the thing about Hollywood Cat. That last race, Lovers Key, Lady Joan, and her, they ran. It was a merry-go-round race. They just literally ran around the track together.
Yep.
So my thing is that I think with the inside post, that maybe Johnny goes. She was a little bit headstrong early, but I don't know if you want to go into the 4 Alabama Bound. I don't know how that happens.
She's not fast enough. That was a very slow pace last time out. I mean, he may leave for position. She has improved, to be fair. And that maiden win 2 back looked like a very bad field, but horses have run very well out of that
Hope's
race.
Roared, yeah.
So it's a better race than it looked. So I can understand some people thinking she's a little interesting. We'll see. This is a much different race, though. I agree with you on the merry-go-round concept. I actually think this horse is not completely ridiculous. Everybody wants to give out a ridiculous horse at a big price. I'll give out Out of Trouble. Are her turf races really that terrible? Now, she's a forwardly placed horse, and the pace may get hot. But I just think she has races, you know, a little bit of a freshening in races, especially her first turf start, that are good enough to give her a shot. It's a crazy price.
Yeah, and the way Karen goes here, right? He's 24%, 23% on this move from horses from Belmont coming to Saratoga. So not the worst dab. I'll give you mine. The 8. You can argue the 8 2 back was better than Let Me Dance. That horse had a ton of trouble. Now, I get it. He runs his races so upside down. You need a lot of breaks. But at 30-1, I'd throw him in the bottom of your super.
I'm not knocking anybody at 30-1. I knock him at 2-1 and get him in winner's circle, but I'm not knocking him at 30-1 and getting him there, Frank.
It's post time for today's 9th race, a wide open wagering affair. Gabby Munchkin Money is taking some money at 7-2, right at her morning line, and it's a competitive cast.
If she runs back to a race 2 starts back when she made her entrance into the Brian Lynch barn, well, everybody else is going to be running for second. But the big question is, can she duplicate that?
All of you are on Munchkin Money, with the exception of Maggie, who is with Frosty Lady. Frosty Lady continues to sit at odds of 6-1. The show, of course, presented by Claiborne Farm, home of Warfront as well.
Excellent sires.
What a sire he is, Warfront. $250,000 if you want to get your mare there, and it's not easy to get your mare to Warfront. She better be a good one. Here is the loading process. We still have several left to load. Sweet August Lady for Chad Brown, Gabby.
This horse, I just think that she's going to have to run a faster race. She's a 3-year-old going against older company. She broke her maiden nicely 2 starts back. She just has to run a faster race to beat these.
Out of Trouble, the horse Andy and Paul just touched on moments ago. There is a look at Frosty Lady, who will break 1 from the outside. Let's go to the voice of the Triple Crown. Here's Larry Colmus.
And a couple more to load now as Sweet August Lady takes her spot in the starting gate. Will be followed by Light Rain. Very tepid choice at 7-2 right now as Munchkin Money is there all in line, and we are ready for a start. They're off. Let Me Dance a step slow to get going. Hollywood Cat, Alabama Bound. These two show early speed. And now moving up on their outsider, Munchkin Money and Amazing Ann to be a part of the pace too. And then it's Out of Trouble, followed by Electrified. Frosty Lady going up on the outside. Then about that base as they make their way for that turn. Sweet August Lady is racing on the inside of Votracur. Let Me Dance is out there 3 wide. Light Rain steadies in behind horses at the back of the field. It is Alabama Bound in front through a 23.42 quarter and leads onto the backstretch by a length and a half. Munchkin Money on the outside is second. Hollywood Cat has the rail in third as they move on to the backstretch. And now these two are going to come outside of front-running Alabama Bound. Break of another 2 back to Amazing Ann racing on the outside of Out of Trouble, who is on the rail in just 2.5 lengths from the front. And then it's Electrified after a 47.36 half mile. Alongside of about that base, 6 lengths off the lead, Frosty Ladies on their outside. Let Me Dance and Votracur together, they're 8 lengths behind at this stage. And then Light Rain and Sweet August Lady. Moving for the far turn, Alabama Bound the leader. Hollywood Cat on the outside, just a neck back in second. Coming under pressure is Munchkin Money in third. Out of Trouble started to drop back through the field, and getting caught behind was about that base. So they're coming to the top of the stretch. Alabama Bound, Hollywood Cat on the outside. Amazing Ann has come to the outside of them with running room. Munchkin Money is closing too, and Frosty Lady is also in the mix on the far outside. Amazing Ann now pokes ahead in front. Munchkin Money, Frosty Lady on the outside. These are the ones now with Amazing Ann in front. Frosty Lady, Munchkin Money, Amazing Ann a half a length on the wire. Frosty Lady was second. Munchkin Money was third, and Let Me Dance fourth in a minute 41.41 seconds.
Amazing Ann gets there at odds of 6-1. Danny Gargan and Midwest Thoroughbred striking again on the afternoon.
Well, the blinkers have helped this 5-year-old mare big time, and a good move by Kendrick Carmouche. Listen, the 6 had probably the worst trip, but he kicked the 6 out when they came to the top of the lane and kicked on. 6 did the dirty work, but Amazing Ann was able to get the job done. Kendrick Carmouche has put on some good rides this meet.
And we saw Kendrick Carmouche kind of get her in the game early, Paul, because she's a horse that figures to do a little bit better when she's more forwardly placed, but an ideal trip. And really, I don't know, did you have much excuse for the 6 Munchkin Money? I thought she had full opportunity to pass the winner and didn't.
I think the 6 was an hour and a half.
I thought the horse got compromised by the 2, right?
I could say I got a dissertation on why the 6 is the best horse. You need to be on the inside paths in the inner turf course. We've been talking about it. What I love about Kendrick Carmouche is he blew a couple of rides last week by going outside needlessly on the inner turf course, and he learned from it, and he gave this horse a brilliant ride, and he saved as much ground as he could. Luis Saez, who butchered a horse in Monday's race on an inner turf course, is unaware of the inside pass place to be, and by never getting any inside position, and some of it, to be fair, not his own fault, but the fact that he was chasing 3 wide the whole way in this course, and he lost to horses that saved much more ground.
Well, it wasn't his fault, and I'll tell you why, because Johnny V, like I said,
he should have kept Johnny in there.
Well,
he should have kept him in there on the backstretch. That's his fault.
I think Johnny couldn't hold the 2.
But he's supposed to keep him locked in on the inside. It's his job.
Then if he keeps him locked in, the 2 tried to engage and go by the 4. Here's the problem. The 4 is a tough customer. He was never going by. He still hasn't gone by.
Let me say something else about the pace. The 2 and 4, the horses the 6 was sitting with in the pace, finished absolutely nowhere in this race, and the 6 almost survived it. The 6 was best from a positional standpoint and from being wide.
By the way, the 11 Let Me Dance ran well. Bad beginning, guys.
10-1-6-11. That was Kendrick Carmouche's second win. He was on that other Midwest Danny Gargan winner earlier today, Italian Syndicate. We'll come back with the prices, and you'll get some nice ones here. 6-1 over 7-1. Here's a look at Rajiv Mirage. Last year, he has put together an amazing comeback, winning some of the most prestigious races in the country.
How do I see New York bred performance? Like this.
Disco.
Here's New York sire Disco Partner setting a new world record in the Jaipur.
Holy mackerel.
And they perform like multiple Grade 1 winner Mind Your Biscuits.
And he's pouring it on late.
Shown here, winning the Belmont Sprint Championship. And New York breds perform in the sales ring, where this filly sold for $750,000. Look for your registered New York performer at upcoming auctions.
And they're off. NyraBet's Pick 5 is now available exclusively online at NyraBets.com. Bet the NyraBet's Pick 5 every race day with a 15% takeout. on the last 5 races on the card from the country's best racing at Belmont and Saratoga. Find it nationwide on NyraBets.com, right in the Bet Type drop-down menu, or at any Nyra track or New York OTB location. Nyra Bets Pick 5, racing's best bet.
A couple of weeks ago, I met Kendrick Carmouche for the first time, and he brings a tremendous energy to the party, and he likes to remind you who he is. The state of Louisiana.
Cajun flavor.
Here are the prices for today's 9th race. Amazing Ann, and even 6 to 1 pays $14 even. The exact of $55.25. Pick 3 comes back $346. Danny Gargan, who does a great job for Midwest Thoroughbreds, gets his second on the afternoon. He's with Maggie.
That's right, Frank. And Danny cleaning up here this afternoon, cleaning up at Saratoga for longtime client in Midwest Thoroughbreds here with Amazing Ann.
She's a lovely filly, which you know her real well, Maggie. We all like her. Such a beautiful horse, and it's, just a matter of time before she won this condition. She's been doing really well. The winter off really helped her. I think she came back stronger this year. The first time I run her, she needed the race, and ever since then, she's really stepped up.
And certainly a great ride by Kendrick Carmouche. Kind of your main man, at least up here, that's for sure, and kind of saved some ground and gave her every opportunity.
He rides really well for us. He really tries hard. You have to have that. And our ride's great for us, too. We kind of stick to 1 or 2 riders. Franco rides a little bit here and there, and he does a good job. Just the right horse, right combination, sometimes it just turns out right.
And Danny, going back, as you were saying, high percentage, it helps when you do the same thing up here at Saratoga. How tough is it to kind of keep that going year-round?
Yeah, this is the 3rd year we've really gone the meet at a high percentage, and this meet is so difficult. People don't understand at the level racing this is. I don't think there's anywhere in the country this tough. But to win at a percentage like this 3 years in a row, it's a blessing. It takes really great owners, really good help, really good rides. You have to have a lot of luck. There's just so much involved. As you know, your husband's a good trainer, and this meet can really make it tough on you. But, I just feel blessed to be this lucky that this ball keeps rolling.
Keep it rolling, baby. On to Belmont. Congratulations here with Amazing Ann.
Thanks so much, Maggie. I know you love
Frank. Well, I do love her. She was one of our barn favorites, Frank.
Little love there. Maggie was petting the winner right after that victory, and Danny Gargan doing a phenomenal job. And look, when you train for Midwest Thoroughbreds, there's one thing you better do and do often, and that's win.
Absolutely. Sharp connections there.
A couple of text messages being returned. Rajiv Mirage, what a story this is. Here he is winning the Ballerina on By the Moon. What a gutsy performance this was from a very talented mare. And earlier this year, he wins the Wood Memorial aboard Irish War Cry. He comes back from significant injuries. I really enjoy his social media presence out there as well. The fans love this guy. Everyone I've talked to have said nothing but good things about him, and we're happy to see him back. Here's a tweet from the JMS's Samantha Siegel saying those are ears of a fighter, talking about her by the moon, who gets her second Grade 1 victory, and what a game performance to hold on there. We get a chance right now to look at some others, including one from Rajiv himself. Delmar, here we come. It's time now for another edition of I Am. Here's Rajiv Mirage.
I am Rajiv Mirage.
Irish War Cry has won the Wood Memorial under Rajiv Mirage.
I am a jockey. You have to love it, because being a jockey, unlike a lot of people say it's a career and stuff, I don't think of it like that. Being a jockey is a lifestyle. It's not just when you're at the track riding, it's just everything around it. You have to sleep like a jockey, you have to eat like a jockey, you have to live like a jockey. And you have to really love it and embrace it to enjoy it. Barring the injuries, I've loved my career as a jockey. There were a lot of dark days, not only about questioning would I be able to ride again, but would I ever be pain-free in my life. The only thing that was positive that I could think about was that one day, and I didn't know when, but one day I'll be able to ride again.
Tizell now up to take the lead in mid-stretch. It's Tizell under a hand ride from Rajiv Mirage, pulling away impressively here.
I'm definitely more living in the moment after the latest injury, because when you get all that taken away from you, you start to respect some stuff that you probably subconsciously took for granted before, that I probably took for granted. Like, now I have to take advantage of every race that I ride. Kelespasi was my only Breeders' Cup mount that day. The day before, I had some really good chances to win, and I finished third and twice and fourth. And I was pretty down going into that race. I was like, oh, can't believe I didn't win a race, and I got to wait another year.
He looks like he's just jumped in at the quarter pole, and Caleb's Posse strides right on by, and he's going to romp in the dirt mile.
A phenomenal feeling that I couldn't describe. I think a lot of it was more of a relief, though, because I finally got my Breeders' Cup win that I always dreamed about.
Groupie Doll in a sensational victory in the filly in their sprint, never gave them a chance.
Groupie Doll provided a lot of great memories for me and my family. Obviously, Breeders' Cup was always my dream, to win Breeders' Cup races, and just to do it with my family around, and also with the connections of Groupie Doll, Buff Bradley, his dad, his partners. They were all great people. They're all supportive of me. We felt like a real big team. Just added it. It's a lot more fun when you're winning with friends. I know reggae is my genre. I like to play poker, and I also like to just hang out, invite family and friends over to my house, and just have a little barbecue and just listen to some good reggae music, and that's pretty much my life in a nutshell.
What a fine young man, and he had that spell in July 2015. Gabby tells me he started getting on the horses in the AM back in September and riding in November. What a comeback. It's so difficult to overcome those sort of things in life, and he has done it. And in fact, he'll be looking to get another stakes win right now in the Lucky Coin. He's on the favorite Douse's Beach. Here he is, getting ready, checking the form, and doing some handicapping. We'll be back with our feature right after this.
Change the way you watch racing forever with the new Naira Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish. From a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. Naira Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and more coming soon. Download Naira Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before.
Welcome back to Saratoga Live. Our featured lucky coin with a $100,000 purse is coming up next. Race number 10. It's the start of the late daily double. Get started betting the races right now from home. Don't wait any longer. Get a Naira Bets account and enter the promo code PICK5 to earn up to a $200 new member sign-up bonus. Also, as a Naira Bets member, you get exclusive access to the daily Naira Bets Pick5. Naira Bets is available nationwide with over 200 tracks available to bet. Go to NairaBets.com, enter promo code PICK5, and qualify for your sign-up promotion today. Here is the field for the lucky coin, and the money has come in on Dowse's Beach. A good-looking gray who has won 7 of 24 starts and is just under $500,000, Gabby, in career earnings.
And this does figure to be one of the horses to beat. But to me, looking at the big picture of the field, it looks like Dowse's Beach and Loose on the Town are the two main horses you want to focus on. And it'll be interesting to see how the pace unfolds. As Loose on the Town, he could be loose on the lead.
Let's go to Maggie for more from the paddock area.
And kind of to expound on what Gabby was talking about as far as horses on the lead, I think Dowse's Beach, he's just kind of turned over a new leaf here for these connections. He's a much sharper horse, even pre-race, than what he was prior. I mean, gets really on his toes, really kind of fired up for his races now. So we'll see. I mean, obviously he's going to have Loose on the Town to his outside, and maybe we'll see a speed duel percolate here in today's lucky coin, and that may benefit a horse drawn towards the rail in number 2, Ready for Rye. Now, he's not a horse that's slow by any means, but he should be sitting in the second flight of horses. And, you know, going back to his first race of the year, he caught that muddy seal track. This is a horse that just loves a very tight track. So getting back on the turf, that's absolutely fine here. And I'm not ever the biggest fan of this horse, but this is by far the best I've ever seen him look physically. He looks so strong to me now as a 5-year-old. So I think Ready for Rye is sitting on a big effort here for today's lucky coin. Paul, Andy, how do you see this one shaping up?
It's an interesting race. I mean, I guess we should start by talking about Dowse's Beach. And the biggest change that's happened with Dowse's Beach since the claim by Brad Cox is using the horse's speed. And I feel sometimes, Paul, with a horse that's hanging, because Dowse's Beach has got a little hang in him, you put him on the front end. They can't hang on the front end.
No, that's true. He hung a couple times. Plainview ran him down. And then he got courageous against Big Rock, 2 back. Conquest Panthera, who beat him in the Play King, that stretch was too long for him. But here is what, you know, Big Rock comes up to his hip, and Dowse's Beach just turns him away. But Dowse's Beach was able to somewhat just get away with early fractions and get it his own way. But these two are the two to take out of this race by far.
Yeah, once you saw that 22-1, and you say that's fast, and that's crawling when they go 106-4, and he does nothing in that. Here's a question, though. He last ran August 19th, 13 days ago. He's got to come back in 13 days, cut back, and ship down from Canada. So I think he's a little bit vulnerable, and not to Big Rock. I don't think he's vulnerable to Big Rock. I don't know if Big Rock can beat him, if that's what you want to talk about.
Well, you know why? I'll tell you why I like Big Rock. Because the pace dynamic for me, Gabby was talking upstairs, can Loose on the Town outfoot Dowse's Beach early. If they somehow hook up, doesn't Big Rock sit that trip? I get it. He doesn't have a tremendous punch, but he might sit the best trip in here.
Okay. Listen, I'm not going to argue. Do you think he's a good price, 7-2?
No. He should be. I was thinking 4 or 5 to 1. I'm with you there. I think he's way too short.
I like
Loose on the Town's way too big.
Yeah, I like Loose in the Town, but I got to be honest, and I don't know, can we switch out to Loose in the Town from here? I'm a little gun shy. I never understood why that Linda Rice horse was bet so heavily earlier. Was dead wrong, but I wasn't alone. I don't know anyone that liked that horse. Last time he ran, he looked like he should have been 15-1 in that race. I think he was about that in the morning line. He was about 3-1 early, took all the money, and they were dead right. He runs back to his race Loose in the Town last time. It was on the dirt, but I'll get to that. He runs back to this race where he was forced to duel from the inside post in a wicked fast pace that totally fell apart. He then took back right around those horses, came back and lost by a dirty head to Stall Walking Dude, who's a wonderful sprinter. And at the end of the day, you look at his PPs, and that's the only really good dirt race he has. The rest of his PPs say he's a better turf horse, Paul.
No, he was so giant this day. I wanted you to focus on the 2 and the 4 because those were the 2 horses that were dueling with them. Look at the 2 and the 4 in the back. They're literally walking home. And Stall Walking Dude's $1 million earner. He's losing to a real horse. This was a giant race. I think the public is worried the bounce factor. He ran so big. Can he come back with a bigger effort? That's my only explanation why this horse is 4-1.
I don't know, but they bet him and they're right, and they're not betting him here. And the thing is, he ran very big here last year as well. And I'm wondering a little bit if Loose in the Town is one of these horses that just loves it up in Saratoga.
Horses are about to head onto the track for the Lucky Coin. Lots of different directions to go, despite the fact that we have 2 scratches out of here. A field of 7 taking part in this 5.5 furlong contest. And there is a look right there at your favorite.
I agree with everything that the guys were saying downstairs, in that Dows's Beach has become a better horse once he's gotten to the lead. But remember, this is a horse who's been running 7/8 on the turf. He went very slowly, going 6 furlongs on the turf at Belmont, and I just can't really see him out sprinting Loose on the Town to the lead, who's very fast in his own right. So it really will be interesting if Dows's Beach has just gotten that much better into Brad Cox's barn, and if he can keep on going.
Well, let's get a little bonus if you can hit this trifecta in the contentious Lucky Coin. It's very simple. Earn a 10% winner's bonus on your trifecta bet with Naira Bets. If you hit the try on your mobile device on NairaBets.com, you'll see a 10% bonus in your account tomorrow. Visit NairaBets.com for a look at the full list of summer promotions and to bet all the great racing at Saratoga. Naira Bets, the official betting site for Saratoga Racecourse. I was giving out some Naira Bets hats last night after Andy's radio show, as a matter of fact.
Good job.
I even offered some to some competitors. Why not?
Did they take them?
Grudgingly. There are the sounds from the call to post. And this post parade is brought to you by OCD Pellets, celebrating their 10th anniversary of supporting the equine industry with their 2-in-1 bone and joint supplement. For more information, visit OCDpellets.com. Remember, there's another race after this. It's the start of the late daily double, this Lucky Coin. And we kick off the post parade with number 2, Ready for Rye. Can City Zip, the late great City Zip, strike again?
Was only 6-1 2 years ago in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. He can definitely sprint on both surfaces.
5-1 the price on We Dear You, Live Oak Plantation's familiar colors, and Michael Trombetta.
This horse is taking some nibbles and was very impressive 2 starts back. Maybe he's a horse that's just turned the corner recently.
Spring to the Sky came rolling last time out at a huge number.
He's got to get out of the gate cleanly, and this is a tougher spot, but did run well last time.
Brad Cox continues to expand his presence nationwide. He's done a great job here in New York and with Dows's Beach.
A tough defeat against Grade 2 Company last time out. He's speedy and he's in form for a very good barn.
Christophe Clement would love to defeat Dows's Beach, who he used to have with Big Rock.
Well, he's going to get the pace, perhaps, or he needs to get the pace he needs to pull the upset.
Big long shot here for the drawing away stable is Dr. J-Dub.
Unfortunately, another horse that likes to be forwardly placed and could be left on the chase today at 35-1.
And Loose on the Town, we just watched his very nice performance last time in the Tail of the Cat. He gets back to the grass.
Comes off a very, very big race last time out. He's run well on the turf. Can he reproduce his last?
He is Rajiv Mirage, and he's on number 5, Dows's Beach, the 2-1 favorite, with just 7 minutes to post for our 10th and featured event, the Lucky Coin. We'll have it right after this.
Visit the new Rivers Casino and Resort, the Capital Region's only destination for live table game action and where the hottest new slots are paying out millions. Sign up for Rush Rewards and play up to $500 in slots on us. Plus, we'll double any casino offer and match your tier. Rivers Casino and Resort.
Welcome back to Saratoga Live, where the lucky coin is 5 minutes away. The 2-1 favorite is number 5, Dowses Beach. A horse who's taking some money is number 3, We Dear You.
Yeah, for sure. He's taking some nibbles at 3-1. And this is a horse who he got his first test at sprinting on the turf 2 starts back, and it was a victorious one there. But my question for you guys is, if you do think that there's going to be a pace battle up front that might ensue in here, wouldn't you kind of give this horse a look?
Well, you have to think there's going to be a pace battle, which we'll see if that happens. Yeah, I think he's a little interesting. Mike Trombetta has been extremely shrewd with the horses he has shipped to New York this year, and they've been outrunning their odds. A big-priced horse running second at turf sprint, and synthetic to turf worked for this horse last time when he won in New York.
Yeah.
And Vici's a cut below these, the horse he beat, but he's still not a bad horse. Another step forward, and he has a chance.
No, you're right. Vici came back. You're right. He's a little bit less than these. And We
close.
Dear You got a tiny bit tired at the end of that race. But what I do love about this horse, and I think you can never understate it, a 7-length win over dirt track. He's got a win over turf, and he's a win over synthetic. He's got a win overall, and he was second in a grade 3. To me, those type of horses can run on anything.
He's a poor man's Einstein.
True.
Yeah.
Gio Ponte.
Yeah, a lot of horses. Giovanni never ran on dirt, though. His horses can run a little bit on dirt, as evidenced by a current runner. Ready for Rye is a neat horse. Speaking of horses who can run on anything, Ready for Rye is a quality horse who can run triple-digit buyers on turf and dirt, or close to triple on dirt and turf, actually. He's run 98. But he's a talented runner. I guess he has a chance if you look at it. I don't think he's a bargain at 4-1 here. You know, it's sort of, to me, about the 5 and 8, and behind them, Ready for Rye is one of the players.
Yeah, I think he's not a bargain at 4-1. Do I think he has a shot? Yes, but not at that price. I just think the horses that he's gotten beaten by Pure Sensation is more of a 5-furlong horse. And I think the other part about Ready for Rye, his best numbers have been run in the mud.
Let's go to Maggie for more.
But what does the mud or a steel track kind of mimic? Well, that's a turf course more than a fast track. And talking with trainer Tom Almatrani, saying that he just didn't care for the track that we had earlier on in the meet, and that was a bit looser, a bit slower. Ready for Rye likes a fast, tight surface. He's going to get it here, obviously, with a firm turf course as well. And Tommy stating that, you know, he trains fine over. It's just that when you let a horse off the bridle in a race, it becomes a completely different story. But it looks as though he is training very well because he looks spectacular here. Another one that caught my eye is number 4. That is Spring to the Sky. He'll likely be one of the longest shot, probably the second longest shot on the board outside of Dr. J-Dub in here. And I just thought third off a layoff. It was an improved effort last time out. He looks as though he's strengthened up here even more. As Andy said, though, if he can get rid of his gait woes and brake sharply, well, that we might see a good effort from the old campaigner in Spring to the Sky. Frank?
Saddle adjustment we saw briefly for Dr. J-Dub, number 7. And you can see here, he's 41-1 on the board. Gabby, nothing too serious?
No, it just looks like they're making a slight saddle adjustment here. But those are our picks down at the bottom. I am landing on the 5, Dowses Beach, but it looks like we're all over the map here.
Just shows how wide open this is. We have a field of 7 and 4 different selections. Gabby with Dowses Beach, Paul LaDuca goes to Big Rock. Maggie has Ready for Rye breaking from the inside. And Andy Serling with Loose on the Town. 5, 6, 2, 8 for our analysts. And you can see there the smiling face of Ricardo Santana Jr. No one smiles more than this young man, and it's no surprise because he's very successful and he has tremendous positive energy, and these animals can feel that.
Yeah, he's got a great attitude, and another person who has a great attitude is Rajiv Mirage, who will be aboard the 5 Dowses Beach here for trainer Brad Cox. And I really do think that this is the horse to beat. Maybe he isn't as effective when he's not on the lead, and he has faced Loose on the Town before. Loose on the Town made the lead over him when they met each other in the past. I just think he's a different horse right now for Brad Cox.
Brad does a phenomenal job and off the claim as well, and he's getting more and more owners to step up for him. They're loading into the gate for our featured event here on Saratoga Live as we begin closing weekend. Ready for Rye, the first one to go in for Tom Albertrani, getting some late support. He is the third choice at 7-2. Stablemates of the past, Dowses Beach and Big Rock, break right next to one another. Can Rajiv Mirage, who is in the middle of a miraculous comeback, add yet another stakes win to his resume. Fox Sports 2 and regional networks across the country. The Lucky Coin here on Saratoga Live. Here's the voice of New York racing, Larry Comas.
Dr. J. Dub moving into the starting gate will be followed by Loose on the Town. These are the last two to load. 9-5 right now on Dowses Beach as Loose on the Town comes forward and in. They're all in line. A couple of the inside runners a little bit over anxious here, breaking open the front of the gate. They'll close those gates and we'll be set for a start. They're off in the Lucky Coin. And it's Dr. J. Dub who comes out running on the lead and opens up to lead by 2 over Dowses Beach. And then it's Loose on the Town, third on the outside. Ready for Rye is fourth, followed by Big Rock in fifth. We Dare You and Spring to the Sky trail the field as Dr. J. Dub motors along early. A 2-length lead on Dowses Beach through that first quarter mile in 22.51 seconds. And then it's Ready for Rye, third on the inside. Loose on the Town is fourth. Big Rock is 5 lengths off the lead. In fifth, Spring to the Sky starting to get moving. And We Dare You is the trailer as Dowses Beach confronts Dr. J. Dub at the top of the stretch. Dowses Beach on the outside to the front. Dr. J. Dub tries to battle on. Coming up the rail is We Dare You. And then Loose on the Town, Spring to the Sky. Big Rock on the far outside and Ready for Rye. It's We Dare You. We Dare You's got the lead on the outside. Big Rock closing in. And then Loose on the Town. It's going to be We Dare You to win it by 2.5 lengths. And then it was Loose on the Town, Big Rock, and Dowses Beach in 101.86.
We Dare You comes through on the inside. Andy talked about the fact that Michael Trombetta has been very effective in placing his horses here in New York. 7-1 for the winner. Andy?
Well, Mike Trombetta, got to give him credit, but let's give Irad Ortiz a little bit of credit. He came through a nice little hole in the stretch after causing a little bit of disruption before the start. Paul, nice call by you, and Mike Trombetta continuing to have a terrific run here. Didn't get off well.
By the way, I've watched probably 100,000 races in my lifetime. The last 3 horses that have broke through the gate at Saratoga have won.
It's a good thing.
That's
the mistake. The mistake
I don't think I've ever seen it.
The mistake is that it's actually good. This horse really, I mean, you win a turf sprint against these horses by open lengths, it means you've run very, very well, Gabby.
Absolutely, and we saw him run very, very well. But this also goes to show you how odd the pace can develop in a turf sprint, really anywhere. We thought several other horses would go to the lead, and Dr. Jada, well, he popped out of the gate and went on top. Dowses Beach, the favorite in here, making that first move into that pace that kind of collapsed in front of him, and we just saw a dream trip, a beautiful ride by Irad Ortiz on We Dare You, just sneaking up the inside.
And he finished the job very effectively. Rajiv actually took a peek back on Dowses Beach. He had a perfect situation with a long shot leader, pounced on that horse, but could not hold off We Dare You. Number 8, Loose on the Town, ends up finishing second in a good performance. Big Rock was third, Dowses Beach fourth. It's 3.865 in 101.86 seconds. And those are the very famous colors of the Live Oak Plantation. A homebred son of Hat Trick takes care of business in the Lucky Coin. Let's take a timeout. And when we come back, we're going to talk about Woodward Day. What a card we have for the final Saturday of the meet. We'll get the winner's circle and comments from the connections of We Dare You right after this timeout.
Undefeated in sprint competition, Eclipse champion Run Happy captured 3 Grade 1 victories and set blistering speed records at both Keeneland and Saratoga. In the Breeders' Cup Sprint, he dominated the world's fastest runners, going 6 furlongs in a record-breaking 108 and change. The only horse nominated for 3 Eclipse Awards, Run Happy was crowned champion male sprinter, all the while racing 100% drug-free. Champion, millionaire, record breaker, Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm. Mastery retired undefeated, winning his 4 starts by a combined 20 lengths. A 6-figure September sale purchase, he won impressively in his 2-year-old debut at Santa Anita. From there, he captured the Grade 3 Bob Hope Stakes and completed his juvenile campaign with a dominant performance in the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Futurity. At 3, the top-rated son of Candy Ride sizzled in the San Felipe, running a 105 buyer and winning by open lengths. Mastery, new for 2018 at Claiborne Farm.
Summer of Dreams 4 is back at Foxwoods, and we've got guaranteed millions in cash and prizes up for grabs. Sign up free for Foxwoods Rewards and earn points playing our World Series of Poker and the Big Dream Slot Tournament with Mario Lopez. Also, try our new skill-based slots. Then, use your points for summer wonders like Lobster Madness, golf at the Lake of Isles, and shop the region's only indoor Tanger outlets. Foxwoods Resort Casino, the wonder of it all. Find your wonder now at foxwoods.com.
Make NyraBets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NyraBets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NyraBets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NyraBets.com.
There's a look at Irad Ortiz and Charlotte Weber, whose Live Oak Plantation gets the W here with We Dear You. There was an objection from the rider of number 7, Dr. J-Dub, who finished last against the winner. It was not allowed, and therefore Irad Ortiz's brilliant ride will be celebrated momentarily by trainer Michael Trombetta and company.
Yeah, it was the right call. We saw Dr. J-Dub just kind of fade from there, had to check a little bit, but did not impact the results of the race. We Dear You was definitely much the best, and it's official.
Good-looking horse is We Dear You. Like a roan almost as he walks into the winner's circle with Irad Ortiz Jr., saving every inch of ground. I know Andy would have been happy he went through on the inside. As they go into the winner's circle here for the lucky coin. And there's a look at those very famous silks of the Live Oak Plantation. Payoffs coming your way, $16.20. That pick 3 returns $899.50. It'll be very interesting to see what that late pick 4 and the NyraBets pick 5 come up in race number 11, which we advise you to go to your Nyra Now app to watch. As we see Loose on the Town. I thought that was a good effort from Loose on the Town because we expected this horse to be much closer to the front end.
Absolutely. This is a horse who figures to be better near the pace, but did a good job overcoming that. As you take a look at the jockey standings, Jose Ortiz still atop his brother, Irad, by 4.
Here are the trainer standings. Chad Brown, Todd Pletcher, 36-35 going into the final 3 days of the season. Chad has an overwhelming favorite in the nightcap here, so he might have a 2-win lead going into tomorrow.
The whole weekend, they both have an arsenal of horses.
When you beat the favorites in any multi-race sequence, you get tremendous value, and it's happened throughout the afternoon. New York's Finest was the tepid favorite at 3-1, but after that, a 6-1, a 6-1, and a 7-1.
Some good prices, and we still have a pretty wide open event in the last race as well.
You can tune in to Nyra Now right now. And if you can't catch Saratoga Racing live, you can always catch the replays as well as live streaming, expert analysis, videos, and workouts on demand, all in HD with the Nyra Now app. Maggie is about to catch up with Michael Trombetta.
Here in a joyous winner's circle with We Dare You. And Mike, a horse that seems as though everything has just been put together with him. He's really kind of relishes racing, and furthermore, he's ultimately versatile.
Yeah, he's won on all the surfaces now, so not too many of them can do it. He's always showed a whole lot of promise, but it took him a little long to get it all together, you know, and he's just one of those kind. It took him a few races, but it seems like he's figuring it out.
And he certainly figured out and was brave along the fence of the hedge here today. And I mean, when a horse wins a turf sprint by open lengths, it's very impressive.
Yeah, Ira did a wonderful job with him, and, you know, it's hard to get a real good feeling going into the turn that it was going to turn out like this, but things did, and I'm grateful.
And always nice to carry the Live Oak Plantations with Mrs. Charlotte Weber next to you here today. Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you so much.
Guys.
Thank you, Maggie. Let's take a look at the Saratoga Showdown standings. And this will be the final standings for the day. It's always a fun thing to get involved with. You can just go to SaratogaShowdown.com. You've got 3 more chances. This thing got real interesting late. GD Betts was gone, but a host of pursuers got close.
Yeah, congratulations to GD Betts. And this is a great way, if you're not familiar with betting, it's an easy and free way to get familiar with betting.